its staff, as well as develop and maintain a code of ethics issued by the International Organization of the Supreme Audit Institutions in accordance with the Code of Conduct as envisaged in the Public Officers Ethics Act of the year 2003 and guided by the international best practice. So this is a bill that is seeking to enhance issues of audit and see to it that there is prudence use of resources. The Culture Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of the year 2024, is also set for resumption of debate. It is a bill by the Senate lead of the majority party, and upon the conclusion of the time allocated for debate, the Senate will proceed for division, where the House will be voting on the Culture Bill, Bill number 12 of the year 2024. But away from the many bills, there are also motions that the House is set to consider. Among them is the report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, following a petition to the Senate by Honorable Isaiah Maina, a member of the County Assembly of Nandi, representing Elsos Ward, on the proposed amendments to the County Governments Act of the year the County Governments Act, Cap 265. The Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights already looked into this petition by the honorable member from the County Assembly of El Sos Ward, and that report is before the Senate, and members will be looking at the provisions and the recommendations of that particular report. The Senate Speaker, Honorable Amason Kingi, is in the chambers this afternoon. Allow me to hand over for this live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Tutakuomba utuajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
The business of the Senate has commenced this afternoon with the afternoon sitting being presided over by the Senate Speaker, Honorable Amason Kingi. Upon the commencement of business, the House is experiencing a small quorum hitch, but that will be addressed any moment from now as our senators are making their way into the chamber this afternoon to address that issue of quorum hitch. And immediately we get the signal from the chamber that that quorum has been attained. I'll be taking you back to the proceedings in the chamber. But away from that, statements are also set to be sought this afternoon, and that is pursuant to the House Standing Orders number 53, subsection 1. A number of senators have been listed as senators interested on seeking various statements. The Senator for Murang'a County, Senator John Yoto, is taking precedence on this matter, And among his many statements is that he'll be seeking a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding the ongoing review of water service boundaries and the management of water infrastructure in Murang'a County. In the statement, the senator wants to understand a number of things, and that statement will be directed to the Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources, and the committee will be tasked with a number of things. Among them is to find out the basis upon which the county government of Murang'a County initiated the review and alteration of water service boundaries. This is between the Murang'a South Water and Sanitation Company and Murang'a Water and Sanitation Company. The senator also wants the committee to embark on a fact-finding mission on whether public participation was undertaken in the affected areas. This includes modalities, timelines, and the venues for such engagements, that is, if a public participation was undertaken. He also wants to understand the status of loans acquired by Murang'a South Water and Sanitation Company and the infrastructure developed therefrom, including the application of such loans, the status on the proposed transfer and control of key water infrastructure. This is such as Maragua Dam, and the measures that have been put in place to ensure continued servicing of the financial obligations and the sustainability of the affected water service providers.
Order, honorable senators, we do have quorum.
Been achieved. Allow me to hand over back to the proceedings in the chamber.
Senator Fernande and your friend from Kilifi. Clerk, you may call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Senator Lelegwe, kindly take your seat.
Order number 3, messages.
The clerk have a communication. It's a message, yeah. Senator Seki, settle down. Thank you. Honorable senators, I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 46.3, I have received a message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the passage by the National Assembly of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 2 of 2026. The message, dated Thursday, 12th of March 2026, was received on in the office of the Clerk of the Senate on the same date. Now, pursuant to Standing Order 46.4, I now report the message. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41.1 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby convey the following message from the National Assembly. Whereas the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 2 of 2026, was published via Kenya Gazette Supplement number 14 of 19th of February 2026 as a bill to provide for the equitable division of revenue raised nationally between the national government and county governments in the year 2026-2027 financial year and for connected purposes. And whereas the National Assembly considered the bill and passed it with amendments on Tuesday, 10th of March 2026 in the form attached hereto, now therefore, in accordance with the provisions of Article 110 of the Constitution and Standing Order 41 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby refer the bill to the Senate for consideration. Now, Honorable Senators, Standing Order 163.1 requires that a bill which originates in the National Assembly be proceeded with in the same manner as a bill introduced in the Senate by way of first reading in accordance with Standing Order 144. Accordingly, I direct that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 2 of 2026, be listed in the order paper for first reading tomorrow, Wednesday, 18th of March 2026 at 2:30 p.m. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I beg to give notice of the following motion. Aware that the Constitution of Kenya under Article 43(1)(f) guarantees every citizen the right to education, and Article 53(1)(b) provides that basic education is free and compulsory. Further, aware that the government of Kenya launched the new education funding model in 2023, primarily targeting university and tertiary and vocational education and training TVET students, leaving a significant gap in the financial support for students in diploma and certificate teacher training colleges, TTCs, concerned that students enrolled in public teacher training colleges are discriminated against and not expressly and fully provided for under the prevailing higher education financing framework, thereby limiting or excluding their access to structured government support for tuition and accommodation. Cognizant that the transition to the competency-based curriculum CBC requires a highly skilled teaching workforce, and that the financial burden on teacher trainees, many of whom come from marginalized backgrounds, threatens the sustainability of the teacher supply chain. Now, therefore, the Senate urges the Ministry of Education, in conjunction with the Higher Education Loans Board HELB and the Universities Fund UF, to 1, formally integrate teacher training college students into the new funding model to ensure equity, quality, and inclusivity in the education sector, and 2, develops regulations and guidelines to define the eligibility criteria for teacher training college students, covering tuition and reasonable accommodation and upkeep costs. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice.
Next order. The chairperson, Standing Committee on Delegated Legislation, you have a notice to give.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of motion of extension of the time for consideration of the Sugar General Regulations 2025, legal notice number 167 of 2025, and the Sugar Imports and Exports Regulation 2026, legal notice number 168 of 2025. That aware that the Sugar General Regulation 2025, legal notice number 167 of 2025, and the Sugar Imports and Exports Regulations 2025, legal notice number 168 of 2025, were tabled in the Senate on 6th of November 2025, and referred to the Select Committee on the Regulatory Legislation for consideration pursuant to Section 12(1) of the Statutory Instruments Act. Cognizant that the committee is required to make a report within 28 sitting days after the date of referral of the instruments by the Senate pursuant to Section 15(2) of the Statutory Instruments Act, which lapsed on Tuesday, 17th of March 2026. Aware that Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act provides that by a resolution, Parliament may extend the time for consideration of a statutory instrument by a period of not exceeding 21 calendar days, noting that the committee requires additional time to consider issues arising from stakeholder consultations and to allow for further engagement on the regulations. Now, therefore, the Senate, pursuant to Section 15(3) of the Settlement Act, resolved to extend the timeline for the consideration of the Sugar General Regulations 2025, legal notice number 167 of 2025, and the Sugar Imports and Exports Regulation 2025, legal notice number 168 of 2025, for a further 21 calendar days to enable the committee to conclude its consideration and table its report on or before Tuesday, that 1st March of 2026. I give notice of motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order, clerk.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Statements pursuant to Standing Order 53(1). Senator from Murang'a County, the Honorable John Yutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53(1) to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the ongoing review of water service boundaries and the management of water infrastructure in Murang'a County, particularly the reported restructuring involving Murang'a South Water and Sanitation Company and Murang'a Water and Sanitation Company, including the status and control of key infrastructure such as Maragua Dam. In this statement, Mr. Speaker, the committee should address the following. 1, the basis upon which the county government of Murang'a initiated the review and alteration of water service boundaries between Murang'a South Water and Sanitation Company and Murang'a Water and Sanitation Company. 2, whether public participation has been undertaken in the affected areas, including the modalities, timelines, and venues for such engagements. 3, the status of the loans acquired by Murang'a South Water and Sanitation Company and the infrastructure developed therefrom, including the application of those loans, the status of the proposed transfer and control of key water infrastructure such as Maragua Dam, and the measures in place to ensure continued servicing of financial obligations and the sustainability of the affected water service providers. 4, the impact of the proposed boundary changes on consumers in the affected areas, including any changes in connection fees, water tariffs, penalty charges, and other costs that residents may incur under the new service arrangements. And number 5, Mr. Speaker, the measures being taken to safeguard the economic and social interests of residents of Murang'a South, including equitable management of water infrastructure developed within their localities, protection of community interests arising from the restructuring, and fair access to employment opportunities. Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, I have a second statement. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53(1) to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the utilization of funds allocated for youth and sports development in Murang'a County. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Department of Youth, Culture, Gender and Social Services Murang'a County allocated approximately Kenya shillings 39 million for recurrent expenditure and Kenya shillings 60 million for development expenditure in the financial year 2023-2024. In the financial year 2025-2026, the department's budget increased to approximately Kenya shillings 92.8 million for recurrent expenditure and Kenya shillings 167 million for development expenditure. Despite these significant allocations, sports facilities across the country remain largely dilapidated, underdeveloped, and in some cases unusable. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the budgetary allocations earmarked for sports development in Murang'a County for the financial years 2023-2024 and 2025-2026, including funds allocated for the construction, rehabilitation, modernization, and maintenance of sports facilities, and a breakdown of the actual expenditures. Number 2, the number of sports infrastructure projects that were planned, ongoing, or completed during the 2 financial years, including the project location, allocated budget, contractor, where applicable, and the current status of each project. Number 3, the number, location, and current status of all public sports facilities in the county, including stadiums, playgrounds, and training grounds, whether funds have been allocated to their maintenance, upgrade, or expansion, and the steps of the county government in place to urgently rehabilitate and modernize these facilities, including the timelines within which residents can expect tangible improvements. Number 4, the reasons why the county government has failed to rehabilitate, construct, or modernize sports facilities across Murang'a County, despite significant development allocations to the department, noting that many existing facilities remain in deplorable condition. And 5, the specific programs, initiatives, and investments undertaken by the county government to support youth sports development, nurture sporting talent, and promote organized sporting facilities within within the county, including measures put in place to support youth teams, local leagues, and sports associations through equipment provision, training, sponsorship, and facilitation for participation in competitions. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator for Kilifi County, the Honorable Justice Retired Stewart Mazayo.
Asante sana mstahiki Speaker. Mstahiki Speaker, niko na taarifa ambayo nataka iweze kuileta mbele ya bunge la Senate. Mstahiki Speaker, nasimama kwa mujibu wa kanuni za kudumu kipengele cha 53 sheria ya kwanza ya kanuni zetu za kudumu katika bunge la Senate kuomba kauli kutoka kwa kamati ya usalama wa taifa, ulinzi na uhusiano wa kimataifa kuhusu jambo la muhimu kwa taifa kuhusu uhifadhi wa miili ya waathiriwa wa janga la Shakahola. Mstahiki Speaker, ni jambo la kusikitisha kwamba licha ya ufukuaji wa miili na tafiti za DNA zilizofanywa na serikali, miili ya waathiriwa imeendelea kuhifadhiwa kwenye makonteina ya muda katika hospitali ya kata dogo ya Malindi. Familia za waathiriwa hao bado hazijapata nafasi ya kupumzisha wapendwa wao katika miaka 3 baada ya janga la Shakahola. Hali hii imekuwa chanzo cha taharuki na hatari za kiafya kwa wakazi na wahudumu wa hospitali hiyo. Bwana Spika, katika kauli hiyo, kamati inapaswa kuangazia masuala yafuatayo: idadi ya miili ya waathiriwa iliyobaki, wale wa Shakahola, ambayo bado inahifadhiwa katika makonteina ya muda wa hospitali ya kata dogo ya Malindi. Na swali la pili, sababu ya kucheleweshwa kwa michakato ya utambuzi wa miili, hali ambayo imezuia familia kupata hitimisho na kuandaa mazishi ya wapendwa wao. Swali la tatu, Bwana Spika, ni hatua gani ambazo serikali imechukua kuharakisha utambuzi huu, ukiwemo matumizi ya upimaji wa DNA na msaada wa familia za wale walioathirika. Na mwisho, ratiba ya muda kwa kukamilisha utambuzi wa miili ili kuruhusu mazishi ya waathiriwa wa janga la Shakahola. Asante Bwana Speaker.
Senator, you had a second statement. You can proceed with your second statement.
Asante tena mstahiki Spika kwa kulipa nafasi hii. Swali ni taarifa ingine ambayo Bwana Spika nataka niseme, na nimesimama vile vile kwa mujibu wa kanuni za kudumu za Senate kipengele cha 53 sheria ya kwanza. Taarifa ambayo nataka ni kutoka kwa kamati ya kudumu ya ardhi, mazingira na mali asili kuhusu uharibifu ama uchafuzi wa mazingira kutokana na uchimbaji wa madini ya titani, yani titanium, katika eneo la Nyari lililoko kata ndogo ya Ganze, eneo au kaunti ya Kilifi, ambayo inatekelezwa na kampuni inaitwa Shanichi Jiani Mining East Africa. Mheshimiwa Spika, katika taarifa hiyo kamati hii izingatie yafuatayo. Ya kwanza, dadisi iwepo leseni iliyotolewa kwa kampuni ya Shanichi Jiani Mining East Africa ilifuata taratibu zote za kisheria na za kimazingira. Swali la pili, uchunguzi au uharibifu na au uchafuzi wa mazingira na athari za afya zikiwemo kifua kikuu, uvimbe wa ngozi, saratani ya mapafu na ngozi zinazotokana na uchimbaji, na vile vile pia pengine kwa uzazi, kama wale wanaume wanatekeleza hali za kuona kwamba wananchi pia watapatikana, ama wananchi ama wazee watakuwa na watoto, ama watoto watapatikana katika hali ile ya kisawasawa. Swali la pili, kuchunguza madai ya unyanyasaji, ubaguzi na kudhalilishwa kwa wakaazi wa eneo la Nyari wanaofanya kazi katika kampuni ya Jualin. Swali la nne ni kamati kueleza ni hatua gani, ni kueleza hatua gani waziri wa madini na masuala ya bahari na mamlaka ya kitaifa ya usimamizi wa mazingira NEMA imechukua kuhakikisha usimamizi na matumizi sahihi katika uchimbaji madini eneo la Nyari kwa lengo la kuboresha maisha na mazingira ya wakaazi wa eneo hilo. Na mwisho, Bwana Spika, nataka kamati hii iweze kubainisha ni hatua gani kampuni ya Shanichi Jiani Mining East Africa chini ya wajibu wake na kijamii na wa kampuni imechukua katika jitihada za kupunguza athari mbaya zinazotokana na uchimbaji wa madini ya titani katika eneo la Nyari. Asante, Bwana Spika.
Senator for Nandi County, the Honorable Chiranke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Allow me to read my two statements. Let me start with the first one. Request for statement on the role of Council of Governors in appointments to various boards, task forces, and committees. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations regarding the role of Council of Governors in appointments and nominations to various boards, task forces, and committees. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Council of Governors is established under the Intergovernmental Relations Act 2012. It has developed guidelines for appointing representatives to national boards and committees to safeguard the county interests. These appointments are guided by Mwongozo and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission guidelines, emphasizing transparency, merit, accountability, and financial prudence. However, concerns persist regarding mandate clarity, nomination criteria, and mechanisms ensuring accountability of unappointed county representatives nationally. In the statement, the committee should address the following, Mr. Speaker, sir. 1, the specific boards, task forces, and committees in which Council of Governors currently hold representation, the total number of appointments made to date, and whether the legal and regulatory framework underpinning these nominations is adequate to ensure transparency, accountability, and equitable representation. Mr. Speaker, number 2, the criteria, procedures, and guiding principles applied in nominating individuals, particularly in alignment with Mwongozo and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission guidelines, and the measures in place to guarantee fair regional representation so that no county or region disappropriately benefits. Mr. Speaker, number 3, the safeguards instituted to prevent conflict of interest, double remuneration, or abuse of allowances in accordance with Salaries and Remuneration Commission regulations, and whether these appointments are subjected to independent audit or parliamentary oversight, including the frequency of such reviews. Mr. Speaker, number 4, the mechanisms established to ensure transparency, accountability, and equitable representation across all 47 counties, and the reporting requirements imposed on nominees to demonstrate effective representation of county interest. And finally, Mr. Speaker, on this statement, the measures used to evaluate the performance and effectiveness of nominees and the project impact of the council's representation on strengthening devolution, particularly in key sectors such as health, water, education, agriculture, finance, and infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, let me proceed to my second statement. Request for a statement on the brutal police shooting at the University of Nairobi Kikuyu campus. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations on a matter of nationwide concern regarding the incident in which an individual purported to be a police officer was captured on video of firing shots into a student's house during a night party at the University of Nairobi Kikuyu campus. Mr. Speaker, sir, the individual armed with rifle was recorded attempting to force entry into the students' residences, issuing threats and subsequently discharging his weapon inside the premises. This act has sparked outrage among students and the public and parents, raising serious questions about law enforcement conduct, accountability, and safety of learners or students in secure educational environment. This incident is not isolated, but appears to be part of recent string of police abuse of power and brutality witnessed across the country, undermining the public trust in law enforcement and threatening constitutional rights of security to citizens. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee should do the following, address the following. 1, whether the individual involved in the University of Nairobi Kikuyu campus incident has been identified, suspended, or placed under investigation, and the immediate actions taken by the relevant authorities following the incident. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, the circumstances under which police officers are authorized to discharge firearms in civilian settings, including accountability frameworks in a place to prevent the misuse of firearms, intimidation of civilians, and violations of the human rights. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, whether the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, has taken up the matter, the scope and the progress of the investigation. Number 4, Mr. Speaker, the nationwide reforms, policies, and oversight mechanisms being implemented to prevent the recurrence of similar incidents in universities, learning institutions, and other civilian environments, and the measures being undertaken to guarantee the safety and security of our students and members of the public across the country. Number 5, Mr. Speaker, how the National Police Service is addressing the broader and nationwide concern of police abuse of power and brutality to prevent excessive use of force, protect the public, and restore confidence in law enforcement institutions. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
The statement by Senator for Nakuru County is hereby deferred. Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to read my statements. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Energy on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the continuous power blackouts affecting Bura Town, Bangale, Madogo, and Mororo in Tana River County. Mr. Speaker, Tana River County experiences high temperatures, making it essential to ensure the proper preservation of food, water, medicines, and other health-related supplies. The ongoing power outages have significantly undermined residents' essential needs, exposing them to health risks and economic hardship. Further, a considerable portion of economic and social activities in the county takes place after the breaking of the fast during this holy month of Ramadan. The frequent and prolonged power blackouts have adversely affected these activities, disrupted livelihoods, and diminished business productivity. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1. Whether the reliance on a single feeder power line is contributing to the persistent power outages in the affected areas, and if so, what plans there are in place to expand or establish additional distribution lines, including the timelines for implementation. 2. Whether flooding and other natural disasters have damaged or continue to affect power infrastructure, particularly cables in the region, and if so, when comprehensive repairs or replacements will be undertaken to ensure a stable electricity supply. Whether the inadequate number of substations has resulted in in voltage fluctuations, frequent system tripping, and transformer overloads, and if so, what measures and timelines have been put in place to establish additional substations. 4. What new electrification projects are currently being implemented in the affected areas, and whether these projects include the installation of new transformers and low voltage distribution lines to improve power reliability and access. 5. Why the last mile electricity connectivity project excluded villages 1, 2, and 3 within the Bura irrigation scheme, and the steps the State Department for Energy is taking to ensure that these villages are connected to the national grid in the same manner as other neighboring villages. Senator Mungatana, Tana River County. Mr. Speaker, allow me to read the second one. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation, and Housing on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the socio-economic and environmental impact of the project for the construction of the new Tana River Bridge and access roads along the Ukasi-Garissa-Modika Road. Mr. Speaker, the project for the construction of the new Tana River Bridge and its access roads along the Ukasi-Garissa-Modika Road was launched in February 2025. Landowners whose parcels of land were compulsorily acquired for the project were displaced and have never been compensated to date. Residents have also expressed concern about the project on their livelihood, noting that the bridge design and culverts could divert flood waters to farmlands and destroy traditional animal paths. Further, the contractor is yet to undertake any corporate social responsibility programs for the local community. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, whether an environmental impact assessment, including public participation component, was conducted prior to the commencement of the project, and if so, obtain the findings. 2, whether an assessment could be done to ascertain that the bridge design and culverts will not divert flood waters to nearby settlements and farmlands. 3, the reasons for the delay in compensating landowners whose parcels were acquired for the projects and the timelines for effecting the said compensation. 4, the reasons for the failure by the contractor to undertake any corporate social responsibility programs on the side of Tana River County for the local community. Senator Dr. Danson Mungatana, Senator Tana River County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
A statement pursuant to Standing Order 56-1A. The Chairperson Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56-1A of the Senate Standing Orders to make a statement on a matter within the mandate of the Standing Committee on Lands, Environment and Natural Resources on the flash floods that have struck Nairobi and other counties on Friday the 6th of March and Saturday the 14th of March 2026, and the systemic environmental governance failures that continue to amplify such disasters. Mr. Speaker, sir, the flash floods of the 6th of March 2026 claimed a total of 42 lives nationally, with 26 fatalities recorded in Nairobi alone, displaced upwards 50,000 residents across multiple counties, and resulted in the destruction of property, livestock, agricultural land, and critical public infrastructure. This committee extends its deepest condolences to all the bereaved families and to those whose livelihoods have been devastated. The committee notes that the events were a predictable consequence of decades of accumulated failures in environmental governance, land use, regulation, and poor urban planning, matters that this House can scrutinize and give proposals. This committee is of the firm view that Kenya has reached an inflection point. The country has experienced catastrophic flooding in 2023, 2024, 2025, and again in 2026. The state has spent an estimated Kenya shillings 35 billion on flood control, water storage, and mitigation interventions over the past 4 years. And yet, with such successive rainy season, the death toll, the displacement figures, and the economic damage escalate. This pattern of recurrent disaster...
Senator Fernandi, be orderly.
This pattern of recurrent disaster, reactive expenditure, and the absence of structural reform is no longer acceptable. The committee intends to provide the oversight, analysis, and legislative direction necessary to break this cycle. Mr. Speaker, sir, the constitutional framework is unambiguous in its obligations. Article 42 guarantees every citizen the right to clean and healthy environment. Article 69 imposes a duty on the state to ensure sustainable exploitation, utilization and management and conservation of the environment and natural resources, and to take measures to address adverse effects of climate change. Article 70 provides for the enforcement of environmental rights, read with Article 62, which vests natural resources including rivers, lakes, water resources and public land in the people of Kenya, and places them under the stewardship of the national and county governments. These provisions establish an unambiguous constitutional duty to protect the environment and land use conditions that, when violated, produce the disasters that this country has repeatedly suffered. The legislative architecture reinforces this framework. The Environmental Management and Coordination Act, EMCA, Cap 387, establishes the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA, and vests it with authority over the environmental impact assessment, enforcement of environmental standards, and oversight of riparian zone protection. The Water Act 2016 vests the Water Resources Authority, or WRA, with a mandate to manage, protect, and regulate the use of water resources, including riparian land and catchment areas. The Fiscal and Land Use Act and Land Use Number C, failure of the Urban Planning and Development Control. The Physical and Land Use Planning Act 2019 requires that development permissions account for environmental impact, including drainage and flood assessments. The committee finds that this requirement has been systematically disregarded in progressively replaced permeable green surfaces with impermeable concrete and tarmac, dramatically increasing stormwater runoff volumes and velocities. The county government of Nairobi has acknowledged that despite improved on-source revenue, the city's drainage infrastructure has not kept pace with the scale and pace of urban expansion. The committee finds that the National Construction Authority, NCA, and county governments have failed to enforce building and planning regulations that prevent the proliferation of developments in flood-prone areas, and that corruption in the planning approval process continues to enable inappropriate and illegal construction. Number D, chronic underinvestment in neglect of drainage infrastructure. Drainage infrastructure in Nairobi was largely designed and built to serve a city over a fraction of its current population and density. The committee finds that despite the expenditure of 35 billion on flood control and mitigation over the last 4 years, the allocation specifically for drainage infrastructure maintenance, rehabilitation and expansion has been grossly inadequate. In the current financial year, flood control works received 200 million nationally, a figure that is manifestly insufficient for a country with Nairobi's drainage needs alone. Drainage channels across the city and other urban centers are clogged with solid waste, including plastic, silt, and illegal kiosks, which has greatly reduced their capacity. The committee finds that there is no systematic, adequately funded, and regularly audited program for the maintenance of urban drainage networks at either the national or county level. Number E, inadequate solid waste management and its impact on drainage. The committee finds that direct and causative link between the failure of solid waste management and the blockage of drainage systems. The Environment and Land Court and NEMA have both noted the pervasive practice of disposing solid waste in drainage channels and riparian zones. In the absence of adequate water collection infrastructure in informal settlement informal settlements, rivers and drainage channels become the default disposal route. The resulting blockages do not merely reduce drainage efficiency, they cause localized flooding even in rainfall events of relatively moderate intensity. This renders the solid waste management crisis inseparable from the flood disaster crisis. Number F, over obstruction of groundwater and ground subsidence. The committee notes that expert findings that Nairobi chronic water supply shortages have driven proliferation of boreholes across the city, leading to the over-obstruction of groundwater at rates that have dramatically lowered the underground water table levels. The resulting aquifer compression, compounded by the weight of structures built above, have produced measurable ground level subsidence in multiple parts of the city. This creates artificial topographic depressions where stormwater accumulates and cannot drain, significantly amplifying the impact of flooding in those areas. Number G, inadequate early warning and disaster preparedness mechanisms. The Kenya Meteorological Department issued a heavy rainfall advisory number 2 of 2026 and provided advance notice of the intense rainfall events of 4th to the 9th of March 2026. The committee finds that while the technical capacity of weather forecasting exists, the institutional framework mechanism for translating early warnings into timely and effective community level preparedness and evacuation actions remains severely deficient. There is no functioning national framework that operationalizes the link between meteorological advisory and coordinated and preemptive action by NEMA, county government, and the emergency response agencies to protect communities known to be at an elevated risk. Elevated risk. Mr. Speaker, sir, flooding which arises from degraded catchments, encroached riparian zones, collapsed drainage system, and absent enforcement is preventable. This committee will pursue this matter and will report back to the House in due course. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now, statements pursuant to Standing Order 57-1, the Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 57-1 to make a statement regarding the oversight mechanisms by the Senate under Article 96 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, sir, through its committees, the Senate, through its committees, exercises its oversight mandate over county governments in accordance with the Constitution, the Public Finance Management Act, the Public Audit Act, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, the County Governments Act, and the Senate Standing Orders. Yeah. Article 96(3) in particular provides that the Senate shall exercise oversight over the nationally raised revenue allocated to county governments, including ensuring accountability in the management of public resources. Further, Article 125(1) grants Parliament and its committees powers to summon any person to appear before it for the purpose of giving evidence or providing information. Further, Article 125(2) provides that such committees have the same powers as the High Court to enforce the attendance of witnesses, examine them under oath, compel the production of documents, and issue commissions or request to examine witnesses abroad. Mr. Speaker, sir, these powers were reiterated by the Supreme Court in the petition 24 and 27 of 2019 and 2022, the Senate versus the Council of Governors and 6 others, where the Supreme Court held that Article 96, 1, 2, and 3 of the Constitution, as read together with Articles 110 to 112, leave no doubt that the Senate is established to perform fundamental roles of governance concerning counties through legislative, budgetary, and oversight actions. The court stated that the Senate has been granted considerable latitude in ensuring that county governments operate at optimal and within accountability standards if the objectives of devolution were to be realized. The Supreme Court, Mr. Speaker, sir, emphasized that there was no way the Senate could perform such an important role without having the powers to summon a governor and to require him or her to provide answers and offer explanations regarding the management of the county finances and related affairs. It stated that without such power, the Senate will not be able to exercise to protect the interests of the counties, nor would it be able to exercise effective oversight over national revenue allocated to counties. The court further stated that the office that is ultimately answerable to the Senate is that of the governor. In its analysis, the Supreme Court determined that the Senate is constitutionally empowered to summon governors to appear before it or any of its committees for purposes of answering questions and providing requisite information. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the recent past, certain county governors have repeatedly failed to honor invitations and summons issued by the County Public Accounts Committee to appear before it to respond to matters relating to financial management, accountability, and the use of public resources allocated to their respective county governments. Their actions contravene the Constitution and the statutory duty to account for funds allocated to their respective county governments and undermine the constitutional oversight mandate of the Senate. It weakens accountability in the management of public resources, contrary to the national values and principles of governance under Article 10 of the Constitution and principles of public finance under Article 201A of the Constitution, which requires openness and accountability. Mr. Speaker, sir, this disregard of the Senate invitations and summons sets a bad precedent and threatens to erode the principles of transparency, accountability, and respect for our constitutional institutions. The Senate will continue to discharge its oversight mandate as enshrined in the Constitution and will proceed to confirm audit reports even when governors fail to appear and forward their findings to the relevant government agencies for appropriate action. Mr. Speaker, just to provide context to this statement, is that I am deeply concerned following what is happening at our County Public Accounts Committee. And as leader in the House, Mr. Speaker, I felt compelled to issue this statement just to reaffirm that this position of the Senate is not only provided for constitutionally, but has been affirmed by none other than the highest court in the land, of the powers of the Senate, Mr. Speaker, to call on to governors to appear before our committees and give account of how they have utilized the resources that have been sent to them. This afternoon, Mr. Speaker, you have just informed the House of the passage of division of revenue. You know how hard this House works, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that we equitably resource our counties to perform their functions. It cannot be that at the whims of governors, Mr. Speaker, they can sit purportedly at a legal gathering in Kilifi and decide not to appear before county government, before the County Public and Accounts Committee, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg for your attention because this is extremely important. You have it, Majority Leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You did give a reply to the county governments on the illegal instructions that they tried to give to the Senate while in Kilifi, Mr. Speaker, of their failure to appearance until certain matters that they hold against the committee are resolved. And we made it abundantly clear in this House, Mr. Speaker, that appearance before this House is not a buffet that you cherry pick, that I want to take this one, I will leave this other committee, that governors must appear before this particular House. Now that certain governors have chosen, Mr. Speaker, because we must set it on record, that there are governors that have gone ahead and appeared before County Public and Accounts Committee, but there are those that have seen the perfect opportunity to dodge responsibility of responding to how they have utilized resources, Mr. Speaker. I want to request, Mr. Speaker, and this be the position of all of us collectively, Mr. Speaker. I am aware, because I have consulted with the chairperson of the County Public Accounts Committee and their membership, that the County Public Accounts Committee will proceed and confirm the findings of the Auditor General on those counties, Mr. Speaker. Because if you have failed to come to respond, then it means you are guilty, you have accepted the verdict, Mr. Speaker. All that is left for us, because on Tuesday, the 31st of March, 2026, God willing, Mr. Speaker, shall be a special day in this House. We shall be passing the findings of the County Public Accounts Committee on the utilization of resources for last financial year by county governors. Those that have come before Public Accounts Committee and presented their responses, Mr. Speaker, will get a fair hearing. If you choose to waive the right to appear, Mr. Speaker, then it means you agree with the Auditor General, and therefore what will be left of us is to follow the findings of the Public Accounts Committee, which is to direct that EACC recovers the money, DCI arrests those that have disappeared with public resources, Mr. Speaker, and we move on to the next financial year. That is the import of this statement, and I hope every governor in the Republic of Kenya understands that position. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, I will allow comments for not more than 15 minutes. So if you have an opportunity to speak, yes, comments including the statement by the majority leader, in which case then I will allow comments for not more than half an hour. So if you get an opportunity to speak, kindly do so for not more than 3 minutes. Senator Eddie Okech.
Chair, that I just wanted to follow up very quickly on the majority leader that the moment we accept...
Senator Eddie, just take a seat. I'll allow you to make your comments. We have guests that have been seated for quite some time. Let me acknowledge their presence, and then we can proceed with the comments. Honorable Senators, would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon, a visiting delegation from the County Assembly of Samburu, comprising members of the House Business Committee and the Speaker's panel and its Secretariat. The delegation is undertaking a training program at the Center for Parliamentary Studies and Training. I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that you may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. The Honorable Stephen Lenamale, the Speaker of the County Assembly, the Honorable Lelenkeju Jackson Layan, Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Leleruk James Koeleken, Minority Leader, the Honorable Lorunyei Lawrence Sebastian, Minority Whip, the Honorable Lemosa Maura Lekuram, a member of the panel, the Honorable Eunice Sarah Lekrenyei, the Honorable Lebesina Calvin Lebalentan, the Honorable Jane Nakinyi, the Honorable Fred Lenaper, the Simon Lekupe, Timothy Leshomo, and Agnes Lerat. Now, honorable senators, on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. Also, I'd wish to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon of a visiting delegation of members of the county assemblies from Uasin Gishu and Makwiny county assemblies. The delegation is on a benchmarking engagement on best practices at the Senate. I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that you may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. The Honorable Julia Sang, the Honorable Robin Tobosei, the Honorable Esther Mwangeli. On behalf of the Senate and my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to you and wish you a fruitful visit. I will request the Senator for Samburu, Senator Lelegwe, and 1 minute to extend a word of welcome to welcome the delegation from Samburu County, and thereafter the Senate Deputy Minority Leader to extend a word of welcome to the second delegation. You may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir, let me join you to welcome on behalf of the Senate, the members of the County Assembly of Samburu, members of the House Business Committee, and the Speaker's panel to the Senate. Mr. Speaker, sir, I know there is a lot to learn here from the Senate by the County Assembly members and their staff, And Mr. Speaker, sir, some of the members who are here today have served in the last 3 assemblies. They have served since devolution. And I know they have a lot. Honorable Urunye, Honorable Mosa served in the county assembly for the last 3 assemblies. And I know they have a wealth of experience. And my hope is that they learn, what they learn here is they take back to serve the people of Samburu better. I'm sure today they have seen the majority leader tabling a statement under Standing Order 57-1, which touches on the reports of this House and the responsibility of governors to appear before the Senate to come and account for the resources that they are allocated by this House. To note that, Mr. Speaker, sir, the governor of Samburu has never appeared, and he doesn't want to appear before the park committee to account for these resources. And in the last 2 sittings with the park committee, with peak committee, they have received very bad opinions, very bad opinions. There was a disclaimer, there was an adverse opinion, and there was also a qualified opinion out of 4 reports that he appeared before, he appeared to give feedback at the park committee. So I request that these members and their staff learn what brought them here and take back their report, or take back the experience of the Senate to go and serve the people and do well in their committees, because I'm sure that they were requested. Also, it is upon them to table the auditor's report before the 31st of March this year. And I am not sure whether the committee or the park committee of the county assembly have tabled their reports in the county assembly. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I welcome the members of staff of the county assembly of Samburu and the members of the county assembly. Thank you.
Senator Wambua.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am grateful for this opportunity. I wish the Senator for Uasin Gishu was here to see how peacefully the county assembly members from his county are seated with the representative from the county assembly of Makwiny. That is how things used to happen before Senator Cheruiyot became the majority leader and I joined the minority leadership. But I'm hoping that going forward, the relationships will normalize. Mr. Speaker, I want to join you again and my colleagues in welcoming the delegation and just make a point, Mr. Speaker. The chair of the County Public Accounts Committee is in the House, and a report has been, a statement has been tabled by the majority leader on appearances of governors before the County Public Accounts Committee. Makwiny County, Mr. Speaker, is the only county in the year 2024-2025
Senator Enoch,
yes.
You'll have an opportunity to say all that.
Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to say that for the benefit of the representative from the Assembly, because their county government has done extremely well. And even the Assembly appeared last week, and they did extremely well. What I don't know, Mr. Speaker, is whether I can say the same thing for the governor of Uasin Gishu. But because you have assured me that I'll have an opportunity to say those things, Mr. Speaker, I will apply myself fully to that invitation, and I'll do it, Mr. Speaker. With those remarks, I say welcome.
Senator Hezana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I had just wanted to raise a point of information, but I didn't want to shout because my governor has not refused to appear before the committees. Indeed, the last time he appeared before the peak committee, I was there. And Mr. Speaker, he had mentioned that there is a need to have different...
Senator Hazana, order, honorable senators. Order, honorable senators. Order, honorable senators. Senator Hazana, you belong to the Samburu delegation. And that's why I give you 1 minute to extend a word of welcome. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the opportunity to welcome our members of the County Assembly, while at the same time requesting the Senate Business Committee to ensure that there is harmony in the allocation of time at which the governors or the cabinet secretaries are welcomed to answer questions in the respective committees, because in the last time, Mr. Speaker, we had a conflict where the governor was supposed to appear in 2 committees concurrently, and he mentioned it. Otherwise, I welcome my County Assembly, and I hope you learn a lot from this house, and I know one day that you'll have the privilege to serve here and understand how the business of the day is carried. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, before I allow comments on the statements that have been sought, allow me to pass this communication. Further to the communication issued in the afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 25th of February 2026, regarding the basic operation of the Titan Congress system, I wish to inform you that the biometric authentication module has now been operationalized. We will therefore discontinue the use of key cards and transition to the biometric. For signing and attendance recording in plenary proceedings from Tuesday, 24th of March, 2026. Kindly note that after the transition, you will be required to sign in with your biometrics whenever you are present for your attendance to be recorded. For the avoidance of doubt, any senator that will attend a sitting and not sign in to the system will be marked absent. And therefore, honorable senators, an IT desk has been set up right outside the chamber to facilitate the registration of your biometrics ahead of the transition. Kindly ensure you pass by the IT desk and have your biometrics registered before the sitting on Tuesday, 24th of March, 2026. I thank you. Senator Eddy, you may now proceed with your comments.
Mr. Speaker, within these 3 minutes, let me first of all make a rejoinder or a comment on what Senator Chiragea talked about in the police intervention where issues have been raised and then they end up mishandling people. Because, Mr. Speaker, I had actually attempted to bring a serious statement in this House on the status of insecurity in Migori County. And before even my statement could be accepted, Mr. Speaker, as valid, last weekend we had a confrontation between the police and the population where 3 lives were lost at gunshots. And the police station in Makalda was burnt down by people, Mr. Speaker, who are angry at the police. And this is because, Mr. Speaker, constantly there has been laxity by the police to deal with those insecurities in that area, to the extent that the people there now are being terrorized by GSU officers who have gone now to Makalda to try and restore order, Mr. Speaker. These issues, if they are not solved, Mr. Speaker, and the statement by Senator Cherargei, Mr. Speaker, should be treated by the agency it deserves. And I know that Senator Cherargei also asked a question to the Ministry of Interior on the general state of insecurity in places including Migori, Nandi, and other places, Mr. Speaker. They are an emergency, because if you don't take care, Mr. Speaker, the population will start fighting with the police, and that will be the highest height of insecurity. It is happening in Nyatike, and I stand with my people in Nyatike that they should not be harassed by the police in Nyatike. There must be a proper understanding between the police and the people in the locality. And Mr. Speaker, that said, because I don't have much time, Mr. Speaker, the country is going to a serious crisis where a jamboree of a group of a corporate organization that calls itself the County Governors Council, Mr. Speaker, is deciding that it's not going to come to this out, Mr. Speaker, to account to critical issues of audit, and they are tantamount to serious crime of humanity on financial irregularities in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you don't rise to this issue, we're not going to manage it, Mr. Speaker. In Migori County, Mr. Speaker, I have taken time and checked on the auditor's report, Mr. Speaker, for 2024-2025, Mr. Speaker. You will find critical irregularities, Mr. Speaker, starting with, 58 million that has been transferred from County Revenue Fund without any trace. We have got 72 million, Mr. Speaker, that is supported, transferred from the same county coffers, Mr. Speaker, for ECDs that were not built. Mr. Speaker, we have got things like 826 million that can be accounted for in terms of pending bills, Mr. Speaker. I can go on and on, Mr. Speaker. I think it is very important, Mr. Speaker.
You have 1 minute. You already have 1 minute.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I just want to request, why can't the chair park just do a basic consideration of these reports? Because you have given these governors a chance to be heard. Then bring this report for us here in the House, Mr. Speaker. Bring them here in the House so that we tell the country what is happening in this audit report, Mr. Speaker. Because if we don't intervene, Mr. Speaker, these governors are developing a route of looking us in the eye and telling us that corruption is acceptable so long as they can be able to buy their ways outside there and other senators, Mr. Speaker. Let's come and deal with them in this House, Mr. Speaker, because committees meet as a subsect of the entire House. Bring them in this House, bring those reports here so that we discuss them as a House for each and every government who does not appear in the House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chute.
Shukrani sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, hata ingawa sitaongea ile Kiswahili sanifu kama ndugu yangu Senator Madzayo. Mheshimiwa Spika, Senator Madzayo ameleta taarifa muhimu sana. Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, mambo ya Shakahola miaka 3 sasa, maiti inawekwa kwa magunia, inawekwa kwa container. Mheshimiwa Spika, komiti ambayo inahusika ingefaa kufika kule waone kitu gani inaendelea kule, ndio waje hapa kwa bunge watueleze ni kitu gani wameona na hatua gani itachukuliwa. Mheshimiwa Spika, wale watu kwa mila ya Kiafrika, kawaida wa Afrika wanaheshimu maiti. Mheshimiwa Spika, Shakahola wamewacha kuheshimu maiti. Polisi ya Kenya, Mheshimiwa Spika, wamewacha kuheshimu maiti kabisa. Na mahospitali ya Kenya wamewacha kuheshimu maiti. Mheshimiwa Spika, hospitali wakati mtu amekufa wakidai pesa wanaweka maiti kama rahani. Paka hiyo maiti ilipiwe, paka ndururu ya mwisho haitatoka hapo. Mheshimiwa Spika, maiti kama haijalipiwa inatolewa mahali mashini inawekwa. Kwa Kiswahili kidogo inanisumbua, lakini mahali inawekwa, inahifadhiwa maiti, wanatolewa wanawekwa kwa floor, kwa ardhi huko chini. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu hajalipa pesa kwa sakafu. Mheshimiwa Spika, asante sana. Mheshimiwa Spika, polisi wanaua mtu ako hai, anatolewa uhai yake, badala ya kupeleka mochari wanaweka ndani ya visiwa huko mahali inatupwa ndani ya matakataka. Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna juzi kijana kutoka Moyale aliuawa. Mtu ako hai, kijana mdogo wako na watoto. Badala ya polisi wameua, wachukue maiti wahifadhi vizuri, Mheshimiwa Spika, wametupa yeye ndani ya msituni na amechomwa, amewekwa vibaya sana. Honorable Speaker, committee ambayo inahusika na hiyo, naomba hawa wasiende Shakahola peke yake, waangalie mambo ya polisi pia. Unakumbuka Mheshimiwa Speaker, vijana wetu wengi wametupwa ndani ya bahari, ndani ya maji, Malaga. Wafanye chunguzi hata hiyo, Mheshimiwa Speaker. Kwa hayo machache nasema
Senator for Nairobi County, City County, Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to say something on the statement sought by the Senator for Nandi. Speaker, it is quite disturbing that weeks after the incident that we all saw at the University of Nairobi, the Kikuyu campus, that officer who was involved in that particular incident has not even been identified by the police service. No arrest has been announced or even any charges being preferred against him. There has actually been even no briefing by the National Police Service, and all this noise that we've made as a people that what happened was unacceptable has just been met with silence. At least, Honorable Speaker, in the case of Nandi Hills, which my brother is very much aware of the kids who were playing pool that were attacked by police, we were told that there was some administrative action, although again later they came and said, oh, those officers had not been transferred, had been widely circulated. But Honorable Speaker, even in the case of Nandi Hills, there have been no charges up to today for the officers who were seen openly violating the peace of these young people. So, Honorable Speaker, you know, there are very few officers in the police force that give the entire force a very bad name. I don't think there is anyone who believes that anyone who has gone through police training can actually fire into a house that he knows there are people inside, and he himself cannot even see where that bullet is going. That officer, Honorable Speaker, we must continue to insist that he be brought to book. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Majority Leader and the leadership of this House, including the Speaker, for the confidence that you have demonstrated or shown towards the County Public Accounts Committee in our quest to bring governors to account. I also want to make it clear, Honorable Speaker, that not all county governors are refusing to appear before the committee. There are just a few notorious ones. And in fact, Honorable Speaker, I will be challenging my chair to give the top 5 most notorious county governors. They are the ones inciting the other people. Can you imagine, Honorable Speaker, we had a situation last week where a governor who chose to attend kept us waiting there because she was on phone with the chairperson of the Council of Governors, being threatened that if you proceed with that meeting, that there is going to be undisclosed consequences, Honorable Speaker. And it is the most shameful thing, something that I am very ashamed of, that the chair of the Council of Governors is elected on ODM, for which I am the Secretary General. I'm extremely embarrassed, Honorable Speaker, because ODM is known for being the party that supports devolution and transparency in use of public resources. How can somebody who calls himself a member of ODM champion such impunity? Speaker, just the way they gave the country 4 names of the notorious governors, we are going to go and do a top 5. And chair, usitishwe na mutu. Mr. Speaker, I want the chair to bring that motion that we had agreed should be brought here so that we stop funds going to some of these people's counties so that they can appear. In fact, yesterday, Honorable Speaker, my own county governor here, Governor Sakaja, was one of those who was scheduled to appear before the committee. And
Senator Sifuna, conclude in a minute.
He failed to appear, Honorable Speaker, and the most unfortunate part is that when I came from Meru on Sunday evening, I found businessmen who do their trade on Road A in industrial area. They were waiting for me in my house, Honorable Speaker, because their premises are flooded. I had assured them that they did not worry. The governor would be before the committee the next day. I would ask those questions on their behalf. He didn't show up, so I didn't get to ask them. At this rate, Honorable Speaker, I wish there was a way for the committee to be told where these governors live. We want to go to their homes. The way those businessmen are coming to our homes, Honorable Speaker, we have to take our committee sittings into these governors' houses because now it is becoming too much. And I want to confirm that the governor of Samburu is one of those. In fact, there is an arrest warrant pending. An arrest warrant pending for the governor of Samburu. So nobody should tell this house that, oh, he has other things to do or that he has not refused to come. And we want the IG of police to make good his promise to this house to bring that governor before the Senate, followed by Governor of Nairobi, the Honorable Sakaja. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Fernandez. Senator Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the Senator Sifuna has spoken very well today for most of us, and we are proud. If he goes through this trajectory, things are looking very good. Mr. Speaker, mine is on your county. It is very unfortunate that 3.5 years, there are 286 bodies that are lying in Malindi Sub-County Hospital, yet to be released to the families for decent burial. Yet DNA test has been taken. What is happening? Is somebody using it for sorcery or bewitching? Because why don't we release these bodies to the families? Mr. Speaker, when you are in Malindi Sub-County Hospital, which you are familiar with because you come from that area and minority leader, the smell is so strong that the people who are sick smell death. Mr. Speaker, it is even psychologically unfortunate to the patients who are recovering in Malindi Sub-County Hospital. Mr. Speaker, I want to challenge the Ministry of Interior and the concerned ministry. Now that they have DNA samples, they have everything, Mr. Speaker, can you, even in your own as the Speaker of this House, which you come from that area and the Senate minority leader, can the families, their bodies be released? Because even the case of the allegations facing the infamous Pastor Magensi is almost coming to a conclusion, Mr. Speaker, because it's a public knowledge, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order that now the government releases the 286 bodies that they have detained for 3.5 years? Remember, Mr. Speaker, these bodies were excavated or removed from the shallow graves. They are smelling, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order? Mr. Speaker, can you direct the minister, the Committee of National Security, to ensure that the bodies are released, Mr. Speaker? You have so much powers, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is your county. Mr. Speaker, it cannot be that, Mr. Speaker, I beg of you that stand with these families, and will stand with you because you lead this House as number 3. I know somebody has claimed that they are number 3 in government, but I want to confirm you are number 3, Mr. Speaker. Let others are jokers, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the final question I want is issue of mining. This company called Shanichi Jiali Mining is a Chinese company that is taking advantage of your people, and it's next to your constituency, Magarini, Mr. Speaker. Magarini. Sorry, Mr. Speaker. They have bypassed all the laws that exist. They don't follow NEMA. Who are these people? You cannot go and do this nonsense. Sorry, Mr. Speaker, for using that word in China. You saw what happened in Kolomani. What is happening in Karebe, Tindre sub-county, is what will happen to your people. Mr. Speaker, if this thing is not stopped now, NEMA must tell us what they have eaten, that the laws, Mr. Speaker, even men from your area can no longer sire. They can no longer execute their things in the evening because the environment is not conducive. And you know, Mr. Speaker, before you give birth, you need a peaceful environment.
You've used your time, and you've used it very well. So have a seat. It's already concluded. Yes, Senator for Kericho.
Mr. Speaker, you must give me, because this also concerns you, because you are equally from Kilifi, and you have heard the Senator for Nandi make very grave allegations against men from Kilifi, Mr. Speaker. And to confirm the worst, Mr. Speaker, the leader of minority, who is a senator for Kilifi, was cheering and stamping his feet, Mr. Speaker, when the Senator for Nandi said men from Kilifi can no longer perform their duties, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order for the Senator for Nandi to confirm, yet we know, Mr. Speaker, that number one, he doesn't come from Kilifi. Secondly, he is not a woman of the opposite sex, Mr. Speaker, to confirm what men from Kilifi can do. Mr. Speaker, can he set the record straight on behalf of your constituents?
No, honorable Senator. Yes, Senator for Kilifi.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, kiongozi wa walio wengi amekosea kabisa ile statement ambayo ulikuwa mimi nasema. Ni kwamba ikiwa kuna mambo ya mavumbi, ikiwa kuna mambo ya TB, wewe utakuwaje mgonjwa alafu useme unataka kuzaa? Utazaa namna gani? Kama nguvu hakuna kwenye mwili. Kwa hiyo tunasema wale wa Chinese wako kule, ile kazi wanaofanya ni kazi mbaya ya kuchimba mashimo, kutoa rasilimali zetu na hatimaye watu wetu kuumia kuathirika na yale mavumbi wanaotoa wakiwa wanafanya ile shughuli, alafu ndio wanashindwa kufanya kazi.
No, order, honorable senators. Let us rest that matter there. Okay, it is only a medical doctor who can confirm those statements. Senator Oburu.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand to contribute to the issue of Mr. Speaker, I stand to the issue of governors not appearing before the Senate. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a very, very serious matter. Mr. Speaker, it is a serious matter because how can governors claim that our senators are receiving bribes from them? If they are receiving bribes from them, can they prove that senators are receiving those bribes? And if they gave the bribes to cover their crimes, are they not equally guilty before the law? Mr. Speaker, the receiver and the giver are guilty. So how can they claim innocence and then now use that claim, which is unsubstantiated, to fail to appear before the committees of Parliament? Mr. Speaker, I condemn this, and I think our fellow governors, if they don't want to come, Parliament has a way of forcing them to come. We have laws which are force them to come, and Mr. Speaker, we must ensure that those governors who fail to appear before the Senate committee, particularly PAC, will go through the whole hog of the law to make sure that they appear before the House. And if it is the police to bring them, let the police be forced to bring them. The police must bring them because that is the law. There is no way the police are going to exonerate themselves. They are going to sit back and watch and wait for Parliament to keep on demanding. Mr. Speaker, it is a waste of public resources for PAC to invite and then sit and get allowances for the sitting, and the governors are sitting close there. Mr. Speaker, we also have other ways. We can also refuse to pass their budget. Particularly those particular governors who refuse to appear before the committee. Mr. Speaker, I know that the Senate is not completely...
One more minute, Senator Buru, to conclude. 1 minute so that you conclude.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I know that the Senate is not completely helpless in this matter, and therefore the law must be followed to the letter. And I hope that sense will come to some of these governors who feel that they are next to God. We are all human, and they must obey the law as it is. And if they feel that there is any injustice, they also have a recourse. They can go and seek it elsewhere, but not to refuse to come to the Senate. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this.
Senator Abbas. Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to contribute to Rutana's statement. Honorable Speaker, actually it's very unfortunate that every part of this country is complaining about blackouts. My own county, I think for the last 3 months have been experiencing a serious blackouts. Despite being in the month of Ramadan, where people require the utility of electricity, it's very unfortunate that the Vijay County is still having the same problems. Even after this excellent president went there and promised that the blackout will be ending very soon. But up to now, for the last 1 month, it has not ended. 2, Honorable Speaker, for the statement made by the majority leader, it's actually very, very unfortunate that my governor, who is the chairman of the COG, is actually an FCBA holder, but instead of leading people from front, he's going backwards and saying that he's not going to appear. It is not that the senators want them to appear. It is the Constitution. We don't need them to appear. They are not coming for us. It's actually the Constitution that requires them to appear. They should appear. And therefore, there is no reason of saying somebody has done this, this has been done, these guys have been done. No, 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 no. If you want to look for excuse, it's actually then we think this is the right time. The Senate must have a teeth to bite, that we can be able to take action against them. Not only under police escort. I think we need also to shield them financially. Fiscal management is a very important thing in this country. Every day you open the papers, you see, even today you have seen the MPs, the CDF have questions asked. There are about 2.1 billion which appear on the papers now today. And this is actually a constitutional requirement. It is not the Senate, it is not the House of the Parliament that is asking. It's actually the Constitution that is asking, and therefore that must be obeyed. And therefore I'll tell my governor to lead his flock to the right position and to the right places so that we can afford this kind of confrontation. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Senator Osoti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me comment on the statement by Minority Leader on exploitation of minerals in Kilifi. Mr. Speaker, this is a very serious issue, and I know a number of us have brought statements in this House on the same topic, but maybe different minerals. Like I know Senator Halwale, Senator Muma, myself, and even Senator Okiya Omtata. We have brought statements here regarding the mineral exploitation of gold in Western Kenya. And this is a very serious issue, Mr. Speaker, and I hope the committee that handles minerals will provide answers to this House, because this problem is a national-wide problem and our people are being exploited unnecessarily, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of governors not appearing before us, I think, Mr. Speaker, we have the powers. I have read the statement by the majority leader, but how I would wish, Mr. Speaker, we took a very serious step, Mr. Speaker, because committees of PAC and PIC are committees of this House. Why don't we consider that next Wednesday, Mr. Speaker, we invite we summon all the governors who have not appeared before us to come before the committee of the whole House, Mr. Speaker, and explain to us why they have not been appearing before the two committees. I think that would be a serious step. And then after that, Mr. Speaker, we stop dispersing funds to these counties. Because if we just talk about it in a statement and we leave it there, none of these governors will appear before us, Mr. Speaker. The kind of contempt, the kind of rudeness that we have seen in our committees, Mr. Speaker, this cannot be left to go on. Last week in my committee, Mr. Speaker, the governor of Samburu appeared, and he openly expressed his bad attitude and rudeness to the committee. This is not the way to go, Mr. Speaker. These people should appear before the committee of the whole House and explain why they have not been appearing before the two important oversight committees, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to comment on the statement by the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, the governor of Tana River County should join that list of those notorious governors who have failed to respond and attend to the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate. And there is a reason, Mr. Speaker. In the year ending June 2025, there are 199 transactions amounting to 573 million that were raised, but there was no corresponding purchase explanations and then there was difficulty in matching or recording invoices against the LPOs in the IFMIS. Mr. Speaker, that's almost 600 million that was utilized, and it cannot be properly accounted for. Mr. Speaker, aside from that, there were payments that were made outside the IFMIS, Mr. Speaker. The internet banking system of Tana River in that year says that 1,132,329 shillings were payments made outside the IFMIS system. Mr. Speaker, there is a reason why this governor is dodging coming to account for a county that is receiving only at about 9 billion shillings. If you are making payments of more than 1 billion shillings without using the IFMIS system, Mr. Speaker, something is really wrong with this governor. My proposal, Mr. Speaker, is that we need to further strengthen the penalties against rogue governors. Instead of just giving them that 500,000 fine, we should amend the Powers and Privileges Act to enhance it to 5 million shillings. They pay personally from their funds, not the county government. Also, Mr. Speaker, we should have powers to order immediate arrest of rogue governors. We have a parliament police station that has a cell so that we can restrain these people. They have a real feeling of what stealing means, so that they stay there, Mr. Speaker, and
give Senator Mugatana 1 minute to just conclude on his sentiments.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, so that these governors who have been found to be rogue, they can stay in the parliament cells until they pay the fine of 5 million shillings. Mr. Speaker, if we can make this pain felt directly to these governors, then, Mr. Speaker, we will stop the drainage of funds. Mr. Speaker, this cannot go on. We cannot have governors who think this money belongs to them. We have never asked about how they use the salaries. We ask about how they are spending the county funds that belong to the people of Tana River. And shame on you, Mr. Governor, for the way you are misusing those funds. Shame on you for the lack of medicines in the hospital. Shame on you for the...
Your time is up, Senator Mungatana. Senator Wambua Enoch.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, two quick comments. One, on the issue of the bodies lying at Malindi Level 4 Hospital from Shakahola. Mr. Speaker, there is indignity, but there is also indignity, Mr. Speaker. Honestly, this is hardly a way of dealing with the dead in the African context, in the Kenyan context. It doesn't matter what explanations the Speaker are available for this. You cannot have bodies lying inside a container outside a public hospital, and the relatives and the kin of those bodies are crying out to be given the bodies to go and give them a dignified send-off. Mr. Speaker, we'll leave it to the conscience of the people responsible to handle that matter. But it's a biggest shame, collective shame of a nation. Mr. Speaker, it shall be remembered that the collective decision by the
governors not to appear before the County Public Accounts Committee of the Senate was made in Kilifi. Mr. Speaker, while there, these governors would have used their time better to even address themselves to that issue of the bodies lying outside the hospital. Because the bodies in there don't just belong to Kilifi County. They are bodies of Kenyans across the country. And perhaps the governors that were making the loudest noise about not appearing, perhaps they are bodies of their people lying in those containers. That would have been a better use of their time as a speaker in Kilifi. But because the speaker, for them, that is not important. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this and say it very clearly. These governors, they may collectively decide not to appear, but they must always be reminded that responsibility is personal, it is not collective. The notorious governor, the speaker, including your own governor, the governor of Bomet, is one of those notorious governors who last week, or was it even early this week, wrote a letter explaining why they could not appear before the CPAC. And the reason that they could not appear is because, according to the letter, the governor had prior important official engagements. Now, Speaker, I ask myself, and I ask this House, and I ask the governors, what more important official engagement would a governor have than to account for public resources given to them to serve their people?
Give him 1 minute to conclude.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, these governors, and I am happy that we had a meeting today. Mr. Speaker, I want to report to this House that because the last appearance that the IG had before the committee, he committed that he will be bringing governors that we order him to arrest and bring to us. That we have decided, Mr. Speaker, that on Thursday of next week, the governor of Samburu be brought before the committee in chains to answer, Mr. Speaker, to audit queries. And Mr. Speaker, the IG should know that this is not a request. This is a directive. It's an agreement that we had with him. And committees of parliament, Mr. Speaker, don't pronounce themselves in vain. So, Mr. Speaker, once the IG receives that official communication, I expect that the governor of Samburu will appear in chains on Thursday to answer to audit queries for...
The 1 minute added to Senator Wambua is over. Indeed, just to confirm what you said, the governor of Bomet actually in his letter of draft declined to appear before the Senate committee. And besides that, there are other contempt proceedings of not only the committees but other courts out of corruption allegations. Senator Boni Halwale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we made a mistake. I'm saying this in contribution to the statement by the leader of the majority. When we gave governors a bill that allowed them to be called His Excellency, and allowed them to fly the national flag, and allowed their wives to be called First Lady, and allowed them to drive around in sirens, we allowed them a retinue of police officers as escorts. We created the African man syndrome in them. And therefore, this proposal by the leader of the majority should be accompanied by exercising Article 225 of the Constitution on financial control that allows us to stop 50% of the funds due to the defiant governors. Mr. Speaker, I was surprised that the person reading that statement was the governor of Kakamega, a man for whom the people of Kakamega are waiting to hear what he has to say about the 240 million that he found allocated on the Butali-Mareha Road. Instead, he is today in a rally, Mr. Speaker, asking the President of Kenya to help him build the same road for which we want him to account for the 240 million shillings that was put in that account when he reported in office. Mr. Speaker, we want him to tell us what happened to the 120 million shillings that was meant to do the bridge and gap the road from Bushangala all the way to Eregi that has got a crossover in the budget, and the money was in the account, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we would like the governor of Kakamega to tell the people of Kakamega, and I'm glad that the party leader of ODM is here. Barasa should tell us, Mr. Speaker, what happened to the 400 million that he put to the road from Mwiboma in Mumiasi all the way to Indangalasia. 3 years down the road, he has not done anything. We would like to know, Mr. Speaker, what happened to the 600 million that was intended to do the road from Bulimbo Market in Harambe all the way to Haunga. Instead, the guy has done only 2.5 kilometers and the money is gone. These are the things he's coming before the committee will clarify. Finally, may I congratulate young Senator Kajwang and your team. Stay put. When you are asking questions of why not, what not, no.
Thank you, Senator Boni. You know, had you asked for a minute, I would probably have given you, but you did not. So, in the circumstances, I will proceed to allow the next speaker, Senator Faki, to.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia taarifa zilizoletwa bungeni. Kwanza naanza na Senator Mazayo kuhusiana na miili iliyobaki katika hifadhi ya maiti Malindi. Mheshimiwa Spika, bunge hili lilichagua kamati maalumu ya kuangalia mambo ya Shakahola. Na moja ya mapendekezo nilikuwa ni kwamba yale miili iweze kupewa wenyewe mapema na waweze kuzika ili waweze kusahau masuala hayo. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, ni masikitiko leo karibu miaka mitatu bado tunazungumzia mambo haya ya Shakahola. Mheshimiwa Spika, baadhi ya mapendekezo ilikuwa ni kubadilisha sheria ambayo inaangalia taasisi za kidini, na Mheshimiwa Senator Mungatana alikuwa na shauku kubwa ya kuweza kupitisha sheria hili, lakini nasikitika ni kwa sheria pia iliweza kuondolewa baada ya kuchapishwa, na hivyo basi katika masuala ya Shakahola hatukuweza kupata chochote ambacho tuweza kusema kwamba kiliweza kufanyika kwa sababu ya kamati hiyo na kwamba wananchi wataweza kukufurahia. Mheshimiwa Spika, ina maana kwamba zile fedha ambazo bunge hili lilitoa kwa masuala ya Shakahola ni pesa ambazo zilikwenda bure, kwa sababu hata leo bado watu wanalalamika miili haijazikwa. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, zile mochari ambazo ziko pale, ile container ya mochari ambayo iko pale, hata si ya hospitali ya kuu ya Kilifi, ni ya watu binafsi, Kenya Red Cross, na labda wangeweza kuitumia mahali pengine vizuri zaidi kuliko kukaa pale na miili ikaendelea kuharibika kwa muda wote. Mheshimiwa Spika, hususan hivi sasa ambapo umeme unakuwa ni shida. Mheshimiwa Spika, mambo nyingi, wabunge kadhaa hapa wameleta matatizo ya umeme katika kaunti zao, nikiwapo Mombasa pia. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, ipo haja ya swala hili kutatuliwa kwa haraka, kwa sababu tayari kuna harufu inaudhi watu wako pale na ni kinyume na maadili ya kiafya katika sehemu ile. Mheshimiwa Spika, mwisho ni kuhusu magavana ambao hawawezi kuja kujibu maswali katika bunge hili. Mmoja wa magavana wao Mheshimiwa Spika ni gavana wa Mombasa, ambaye pia ametoa sababu nyingi kukosa kuja katika bunge hili kuweza kujibu maswali. Hivi nimeona barua tayari kwamba tarehe 23 anatakana hapa siku ya Jumatatu, na nina hakika Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo tarehe 23 atakuwa na hafla nyingine ambayo itamwezesha asiweze kufika katika bunge hili kujibu maswali mazuri ambayo yameandaliwa na kamati ya uhasibu ili kuhakikisha kwamba fedha zetu zinatumika vizuri. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningeunga mkono pendekezo la Senator Ososi kwamba badala ya kuita mawaziri Jumatano wiki ijayo, tuite wale magavana ambao ni sugu kukataa kuja na waweza.
Senator Faki, I'll give you 30 seconds. Give Senator Faki 30 seconds to conclude.
Yes. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, waitwe hapa Jumatano wiki ijayo ili waweze kujitetea ni kwa sababu gani wanakiuka katiba, kwa sababu kukiuka katiba ni moja ya
Senator Faki, you asked for 30 seconds. And,
they have not ended, Mr. Speaker.
All right, conclude.
Only 3 seconds.
Conclude, Senator Faki. You're still on the floor.
Kwa Mheshimiwa Speaker, waitwe hapa kwa sababu moja ya sababu za kuweza kubanduliwa mamlakani ni kukataa kutii sheria. Na sheria inasema kwamba lazima waje katika bunge la Senate waweze kujitetea kwa hisabu na ripoti zao ambazo zimetoka kwa mhasibu mkuu wa serikali. Asante Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Sir, though you've not made the communication, I would request upfront you add me a minute, because the people sitting at the gallery, they are from my county, 3 schools, Mr. Speaker, and because you might not be able to make the communication on time, I would want to request you to add me a minute so that I would take the opportunity to welcome them.
Senator Wamatinga, now that you've brought that to my attention, resume your seat so that I can make that communication. Honorable Senators, I have a communication on visiting teachers and students from schools in Nyeri County. I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon, visiting teachers and students from Ndiani Comprehensive School, Kiaruthi Comprehensive School, and St. Thomas Gatura Secondary School in Nyeri County. The delegation comprises 13 teachers and 89 students who are visiting the Senate for an academic exposition. Honorable Senators, on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful learning. I thank you. Now, in your contribution, Senator Wamatinga, you may have also an opportunity to welcome them under the timeline that is available to you, being 3 minutes for the comments and 1 minute to welcome the delegation.
Give me the mic. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. Indeed, that's very, very kind of you. Let me take this opportunity to welcome the learners from Nyeri County. Mr. Speaker, why we do go into the length of inviting learners to come to the Parliament is because we want to show them what we do here. But most important to Mr. Speaker, we want to inspire them so that after we are gone, Mr. Speaker, we'll have people who will leave this country too. Mr. Speaker, Nyeri was known being one of the best performers in Kenya academically. We note that the performance has declined over time, and it is the high time we as the leadership of Nyeri take up our responsibility and guide them to get back to where we were those days. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to speak about the exploitative mining that's going on around the country. Mr. Speaker, it is the responsibility of the leadership today to ensure that we do not only exploit the minerals that we've been bestowed with, but we also do it in a sustainable way so that we do not leave a country behind for the future generation that has been depleted of all the raw materials, but most importantly, Mr. Speaker, that we also leave an opportunity for our children to find a country that is habitable. Mr. Speaker, this is why, and that's why, Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to praise the President, His Excellency, the President William Samuel Ruto, for his ability to see things different, to create a vertical fund, Mr. Speaker, that does not require us to dig into our budget so that we can have alternative development, infrastructure development. Mr. Speaker, had we done this, Mr. Speaker, creation of a sovereign fund, creation of an infrastructure development fund, Mr. Speaker, we would be having a country that's far, far ahead. And we know, Mr. Speaker, we have a journey to walk through Canaan to the Singapore, and that we cannot do, Mr. Speaker, unless we do things differently. Mr. Speaker, allow me also to add my voice to the statement that has been raised by the majority leader. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, the Senate, as is the governors, is a creation of a constitution, and it is imperative that we honor this constitution. It is imperative that governors
as we, the legislatures, also answer to the Constitution. And therefore, it is important that we turn this House into a committee of the whole and summon all those governors who've been summoned by the committees so that they can come and answer questions, because it is our mandate, oversight mandate, to ensure that we represent our people, to ensure that the resources that are allocated to the governors is getting to the rightful use, and most importantly, that they are able to account for it. It is unacceptable, Mr. Speaker, that we will have a governor who will say that he's not available, he has any other commitment. If they feel that they have any other commitment, Mr. Speaker, let them leave their positions to their deputies and go back to their normal life, because it is their duty to appear before this House and explain how they have spent the public money that has been allocated to them. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Thank you, Senator Omatinga. Now, Honorable Senators, it's just been brought to my attention that the motion for extension for consideration of the Sugar General Regulation 2025 is, today is its last day. So, Senator Olekina, you will actually be the next person to speak after we transact the business that I'm trying to guide the House on. So I will immediately suspend comments on these statements so that we transact on these regulations while we still have quorum. I want to plead with members not to leave the chamber so that we take a vote on these regulations, and immediately thereafter we will resume to comment on the regulations. And therefore I will rearrange the order paper and ask the clerk to call order number 8. Honorable Senators, please do not leave the chamber. Clerk, call.
Order number 8, motion, extension of time for consideration of the Sugar General Regulations 2025, legal notice number 167 of 2025, and the Sugar Imports and Exports Regulations 2025, legal notice number 168 of 2025.
Senator Mofire, the chairperson, delegated legislation, proceed to move the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the motion that aware that the Sugar General Regulations 2025, legal notice number 167 of 2025, and the Sugar Imports and Exports Regulations 2025, legal notice number 168 of 2025, were tabled in the Senate on the 6th of November 2025 and referred to the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation for consideration pursuant to Section 12(1) of the Statutory Instruments Act. Cognizant that the committee is required to make a report within 28 sitting days after the date of referral of the instrument by the Senate, pursuant to Section 15(2) of the Statutory Instruments Act, which lapsed on Tuesday, today, 17th of March 2026. Aware that Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act provides that by a resolution, Parliament may extend the time for consideration of a settlement by a period not exceeding 21 calendar days. Noting that the committee requires additional time to consider issues arising from stakeholders' consultations and to allow for further engagements on the regulations, now therefore the Senate, pursuant to Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act, resolved to extend the timelines for the consideration of the Sugar General Regulations 2025, legal notice number 167 2025, and the Sugar Imports and Exports Regulation 2025 and legal notice number 168 of 2025 for a further 21 calendar days to enable the committee to conclude its consideration and table its report on before Tuesday, 31st March 2026. I am begged to move, Honorable Speaker, and I request Honorable Dr. Dalishon Buya Mungatana to second.
Senator Mungatana.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to second this motion. Mr. Speaker, this is a very simple motion that really seeks to give time to the committee so that we can be able to look at these sugar regulations 2025, legal notice number 167 and legal notice number 168 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, the committee, when we engaged with the T-board and the leadership, they explained to us the need for restructuring on how tea leaves can be delivered in a more effective manner than the way it is being done now. They also said that there are practices that need to be codified. What is happening on the ground is not what the regulations that the regulating the RMA, the regulating meeting body, was reflecting in what was given to us. So they needed time to also look at what is practically happening on the ground and what needs to be codified in the regulations. Mr. Speaker, for us who are sitting at the committee, we really want to make sure that in this period, the tea sector will have regulations that will help the farmer, the small-scale farmer. Where does he sell his leaf? Who is the person who will buy? What kind of contractual arrangements are going to be there? And the transportation, who is going to bear the costs? Mr. Speaker, all these things, they need to be done in such a way that, Mr. Speaker, this Senate will have a reason to say that during our time, we made sure that this sector, the tea sector, has been regulated in a manner that helps the small farmer to gain maximum benefits. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm urging the colleagues who are seated here to allow us to finish this work. And this is a request that came from the T-board themselves. And we acquiesced to it. And we said we will come back to the Senate and ask for extension of time because according to the rules as moved by the chair, the time was going to lapse, and this would have meant that the regulations would not go on as envisaged. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm just urging colleagues to allow us the time. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to second this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Lemaletan, take the next seat to you. Thank you. Honorable Senators, I now propose the question that aware the Sugar General Regulations 2025, legal notice number 167 of 2025, and the Sugar Imports and Exports Regulations 2025, legal notice number 168 of 2025, were tabled in the Senate on the 6th of November 2025 and referred to the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation for consideration pursuant to Section 12, subsection 1 of the Statutory Instruments Act, cognizant that the committee is required to make a report within 28 sitting days after the date of referral of the instruments by the Senate pursuant to Section 15, subsection 2 of the Statutory Instruments Act, which will lapse on Tuesday, which is today, 17th March 2026, aware that Section 15, subsection 3 of the Statutory Instruments Act provides that by a resolution, Parliament may extend the time for consideration of a statutory instrument by a period not exceeding 21 calendar days, noting that the committee requires additional time to consider issues arising from stakeholder consultations and to allow for further engagement on the regulations. Now, therefore, the Senate, pursuant to Section 15, subsection 3 of the Statutory Instruments Act, resolves to extend the timeline for the consideration of the Sugar General Regulations 2025, legal notice number 167 of 2025,
and the Sugar Imports and Export Regulations 2025, legal notice number 168 of 2025, for a further 21 calendar days to enable the committee to conclude its consideration and table its report on or before Tuesday, 31st of March 2026. Senator Cherargei, Senator Mulgor, you may take your seats. Minority Leader, please take your seat as well. Now, honorable members, having proposed the question, this motion is available for your comments. But it being a procedural motion, with your concurrence, I propose that I proceed to put the question. Honorable members, honorable senators, with your concurrence, I take note of Senator Cherargei's concern, but the majority are in concurrence that we proceed to put the question. Therefore, I will proceed, and pursuant to Standing Order 84-1, I make a determination that the matter does not affect counties, and therefore proceed to put the question. Honorable senators, I put the question that, aware that the Sugar General Regulations 2025, legal notice number 167 of 2025, and the Sugar Imports and Exports Regulations 2025, legal notice number 168 of 2025, were tabled in the Senate on 6th of November 2025 and referred to the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation for consideration pursuant to Section 12, subsection 1 of the Statutory Instruments Act, cognizant that the committee is required to make a report within 28 sitting days after the date of referral of the instruments by the Senate pursuant to Section 15, subsection 2 of the Statutory Instruments Act, which will lapse on Tuesday, 17th of March 2026, being today, aware that Section 15, subsection 3 of the Statutory Instruments Act provides that by a resolution, Parliament may extend the time for consideration of statutory instruments by a period not exceeding 21 calendar days, and noting that the committee requires additional time to consider issues arising from stakeholder consultations and to allow for further engagement on the regulations. Now, therefore, the Senate, pursuant to Section 15, subsection 3 of the Statutory Instruments Act, resolves to extend the timeline for the consideration of the Sugar General Regulations 2025, legal notice number 167 of 2025, and the Sugar Imports and Exports Regulation 2025, legal notice number 168 of 2025, for a further 21 calendar days to enable the committee to conclude its consideration and table its report on or before Tuesday, 31st of March 2026. Honorable members, now will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Thank you, honorable members. We will now go back to the statements for purposes of continuation on the comments by members. And the next senator is Senator Olekina Ledama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make some brief comments on the statement by the Majority Leader on the absconsion of accountability by the governors. Mr. Speaker, accountability cannot be boycotted. And tonight, or this afternoon, I want to speak directly to the senators in this House, particularly the senators both in the PIC and PAC committees. There's no need for us to throw jabs at each other. There's no need for us to insult the governors or to speak very harsh to them. The only thing we need to do, Mr. Speaker, is for us to use the legal mechanism which is there. The accountability is entrenched in the Constitution. When it comes to the issue of oversight, Mr. Speaker.
Olekina, there is a point of order from Senator Cherargei. I will allow him to raise the order. Give him the microphone. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, accuracy of facts at Standing Order 105. Is it in order for the distinguished senator of Narok, which I have tremendous respect because his governors appeared before public accounts, to say senators are insulting governors? In fact, the governors are worse because they name and shame some of us without even going through a procedure. Is it in order to say we are insulting governors? Can you withdraw and apologize? Because Article 96, Mr. Speaker, is very clear. We do oversight. We don't insult anybody. Is it in order?
Senator Olekina, you've heard the point of order by Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, there's a reason why people become number one in class and number last in class. If the distinguished senator would be patient to listen to my submissions, then he will understand that I merely made a statement that say there is no need for us to throw jabs at each other. I never at any point made a statement that senators are insulting governors. So I think if we just pay attention, it would really help us a lot. Mr. Speaker, I will go back to my submissions. And Senate oversight is entrenched in the Constitution. Article 96, Article 125, Article 226, all the way to 228 demands for accountability. So when governors choose to ignore summons, we must then come back and ask ourselves, why are these governors ignoring these summons? Were the summons worded clearly? And what are the intended and unintended consequences of those summons? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to persuade Senator Moses Kajwang, who is the chairperson of CPAC, and Senator Otsotsi, the chairperson of PIC, to use the legal mechanism, which is already there, laid out clearly, to be able to call these governors to account. Accountability is personal. It is not collective. And that is one thing that these governors must be reminded. Mr. Speaker, can I please request for 3 minutes added because my time was interrupted? Thank you.
Conclude your time first. You still have got 53 seconds. Then after that, we will consider your request.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's about time for us to start issuing summons. I am not of the opinion for us to call these governors to come to plenary. I think we have able committees that can be able to carry out the work that they have been given. Calling them here is really just either indicating that we do not have the powers to be able to emphasize or rather ensure that these governors appear here. Article 125 is very clear, Mr. Speaker. The Senate, when a witness has the power to summon a witness anywhere in the world to appear before that committee to be able to respond. Article 226, subsection 5 of the Constitution is also quite clear.
Give Senator Olekina 90 seconds. 90 seconds. Proceed.
So I start now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Article 226, subsection 5. If a holder of a public office misappropriate funds, that person is liable whether in office or outside office. So there's no point of us, really beating ourselves because these governors have decided not to appear. What is important is we must ask ourselves simple questions. When we summoned, were those summons worded clearly? Did they indicate the consequences? Mr. Speaker, we have a Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Section 19, which is quite clear. It's got penalties. I believe the last time I checked is about 500,000, and we're about to amend it to 5 million shillings, and also 5 years in prison.
Senator Olekina, Senator Samson Cherargei wants to inform you. Do you want to be informed?
Absolutely.
Proceed, Senator Fernandi.
Thank you, my brother, Senator Ledama. And you spoke very well, by the way, when you were in the funeral. Thank you for that. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to inform Senator Ledama that we have always issued summonses, I think to now 10 governors, and it is well worded that they must appear. So, and I'm happy that the governor of Narok did appear, Olentutu, but almost 10 governors, their summonses have been issued, including yesterday the governor of Nairobi, the governor of Kericho, and the governor of Kisii. So I thought my brother would benefit because we have already earned the powers and privileges. I yield back my leader.
Very well. Thank you, Senator.
How much time do I have? So
you have got
60 seconds. 60 seconds.
45 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for me to conclude my submissions, let me just reiterate that accountability cannot be boycotted. Yes. You may run away from it today, but tomorrow, when you're sitting down in your manicured mansion under a tree, a beautiful umbrella tree, you know, the law will catch up on you. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the PFM Act, and this is why I normally say, you know, governors, they don't sign any checks. The people who sign these checks are the CEOs and the CCs are the ones who, CC of Finance, in fact, Mr. Speaker, is the head of Treasury. So, Moses Kajwang, the chairperson of PAC, it is about time for you to now come up with a proper legal framework to be able to ensure that you call these people to account. Mr. Speaker, if I can...
Your time is up, Senator Olekina. Minority Leader, Senator Mazayo. The chair has acceded to your request, and I want to give you the opportunity to proceed to comment.
Asante mstahiki Speaker. Mstahiki Speaker, kwanza pia mimi nataka kuunga mkono ile taarifa ambayo ilikuja na kiongozi walio wengi ndani ya bunge letu la Senate, ndugu yangu Cheriot. Bwana Speaker, cha umuhimu ni kwamba ni lazima kuwe na uhusiano bora baina ya maseneta, hususan wale maseneta ambao katika kamati yetu ya kuchunguza matumizi ya pesa katika na Speaker, Bwana Speaker, nitetee kidogo manake naona kuna
Senator Cherargei, be a good student of discipline in class.
Yeah. Kwa hiyo Bwana Speaker, jambo
very well, gets assisted, then you resume your seat. Proceed, Senator.
Asante, shukran Bwana Speaker. Bwana Speaker, vile vile nataka kusema ya kwamba katika bunge la Senate na uongozi katika serikali zetu za mashinani ukiongozwa na magavana, inatakana kuwa na majukumu na kila mtu anajukumika kisheria na kikatiba. Kwa hiyo Bwana Speaker, ni jambo la kusikitisha kwamba hivi sasa tuko katika eneo ambalo hatuelewani, na ndio sababu kumekuwa na hii mushkil. Lakini Bwana Speaker, tutafanya bidii sisi kama viongozi wa bunge la Senate. Nataka kuhakikishia kwamba tutafanya bidii kuona ya kwamba tumeweza kukaa chini, kuongea na kuona tofauti zetu tumeziweza kuziweka sawa sawa. Bwana Speaker, sioni kama kuna jambo lolote ambalo gavana akija katika bunge letu la Senate anaweza kuuliza swala ambalo hawezi kulijibu. Na pia vile vile tunasema kwamba kama ukipatiwa barua ya kwamba uje ndani ya bunge la Senate uweze kueleza mambo fulani ambayo yanatokea katika utendakazi wako wa matumizi ya pesa, sioni kama ni jambo baya. Ni mtu kufika, ni gavana kufika na kuweza kujieleza, na akishajieleza inakuwa ndio hivyo. Unawachia sasa bunge la Senate kuandika ripoti yake. Kwa hiyo tusichukulie kama ni jambo ambalo tunataka hatua kali ichukuliwe ama namna gani. Ni utenda kazi, na kama utenda kazi wetu inaweza kwamba tunaweza kukaa na tukaweza kuongea. Ninayo imani na ninayo uhakika wa kwamba tunaweza kufaulu na hatimaye tukawa na mwelekeo mwema sote pamoja. Manake huyu akikunja ngumi, huyu akikunja ngumi, hasara inakuwa ni zile county zetu za kule nyumbani. Mstahiki Speaker, dakika 2 ama 1 kumalizia.
I'll add you 1 minute, Senator Manzayo.
Yeah. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, nasema ya kwamba yote 9 la 10 ni kwamba ni sharti magavana waje mbele ya kamati ya Senate ili waweze kujibu maswali yale ambayo yanahusikana na utumizi wa pesa, na hawawezi kusema kwamba hawatakuja kwa sababu katiba sivyo inavyosema. Katiba inasema ni lazima wale magavana waje mbele ya kamati ya bunge na waweze kusoa taarifa zao zile ambazo watakuwa wanaulizwa maswali na kujibu, na hatimaye ripoti kuandikwa kuhusikana na yale maswala. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Mundige.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa nafasi niweze kuchangia mjadala unaendelea kuhusu magavana kuitwa kwa kamati. Mimi naunga mkono magavana wote wamekataa kuja waandikiwe barua waweze kuja kujibu maswali Bwana Spika, kwa sababu wakati tunapitisha pesa kwa mwaka sisi wote kaunti 47 huwa wanatulilia tuweze kuongezea pesa ndio ile mahitaji ya kaunti iweze kuendelea njia ile mzuri. Aswa Bwana Spika, nashukuru sana pia kwa governor wa Embu County ambaye ni Sisiri, ambaye wakati hii mambo yote iliendelea amehudhuria mara 2 kukuja kujibu maswali. Akujali ile mambo ilikuwa mbele, aliona ni vizuri akiwa mwenyekiti wa UNDA akuja ajibu maswali. Kwa hivyo nikiwa Senator Embu County nasema governor yeyote ambaye amekataa kuja kujibu swali ni vizuri akuja ajibu swali, kuonekane kazi inafanyika namna gani. Aswa governor wa Nairobi, kuna mambo mengi sana Bwana Spika imefanyika. Kwa sababu nakumbuka mwaka jana ile kipindi ambayo ilifanyika pale wa Kenya Power, alienda akasukua takataka akaenda kufunga njia, hakujulikana iliendelea namna gani, wakatafuta dialogue. Lakini Bwana Spika, wakati mvua imenyesha, ndio mvua ni Mungu ameilete, lakini kuna mambo mengine tukua sisi wafanyikazi wa county kama governor kujua kama ni drainage iko namna gani, kama ni mambo imefanyika namna gani, kwa sababu tumeona magari mingi imepepwa na maji. Tumeona watu wengi wamekufa, hata watu wengine waembu walikuwa pale. Kwanza kijana mmoja alikuwa asindikishwa jana. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, magavana kama governor wa Nairobi mpaka akuja ajibu maswali mambo ya drainages. Ukiangalia Bwana Spika, county ya Nairobi inaendelea vizuri. Mambo ya kuwa watu ni wengi, magari ni mingi, angevaa kuja njipu mambo ya parapara itatengenezwa namna gani, kama ni dual carriage, kama ni bypass itakuwa namna gani. Pia nikimalizia Bwana Spika, county ya Nairobi ndio sisi wote ni kama mama wetu au baba wetu, na tunajua county ya Nairobi ndio kubwa sana ambayo iko na deni ya bilioni 100,000, na watu wengi contractors wamekufa, wengine wameshotwa mali na wameteseka. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, naunga mkono magavana waitwe, na gavana wa kwanza kuja kujibu ni gavana wa Nairobi. Pia vice chairperson wa governors ambaye ni governor wa Tharaka-Nithi ambaye alikuwa anjipiga kifua, ni njia mbaya sana katika Mount Kenya akiwa anjipiga kifua. Tunataka kuona hata kama ameitwa na kamati. Asante Bwana Spika, naunga mkono.
Senator Manzo Daniel Kitonga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to comment on the killings by police, and as you have heard from the statement requested by Honorable Cherengai, the incident at the University of Nairobi, Kikuyu campus, the incident in what has happened recently in Ndio County, and many other incidents, Mr. Speaker, including attacks on politicians, and nothing happens at all. Mr. Speaker, there must be a way the Constitution is fulfilled in this. It is not just about compensation to young people who get killed by police, either intentionally or accidentally. Mr. Speaker, under the law, there can only be a misadventure or somebody with intention or carelessly or negligently kills another person. Therefore, in the current situation, there is no case of misadventure. Clearly, the police have been on errand, like the case in Nandi, where young people were beaten up, and up to today, no report has been filed or an update by the police department as to what has happened into all this, whether the police oversight authority has done anything. I'm aware there are quite a number of prosecution cases which they have done, like one happened in Makwiny where a young child was killed in a place called Kambu. The police officer now has been arrested and in fact has been denied bail by the High Court in Makwiny for having threatened witnesses just before he was arrested by IPOA. And I think that particular case is commendable. I personally pushed for it when this lady who had been arrested, her child was beaten up to death by a police officer in Kambo police post. And now I'm happy some justice is happening. But there are other more than 100 cases, Mr. Speaker, where we need to see action, and especially where Mandamano was involved, and whether Mandamano or no Mandamano, life is very important. It's very important for everybody to be alive and their life not to be taken away from them, illegally or without due cause or due process. And even in a case where somebody is sentenced to murder, Mr. Speaker, nowadays under the new constitution, it is commuted into a life sentence, showing how important life is, and especially of young Kenyans, some who leave their homes without knowing they will accidentally die, like Rex Masai, who was on his way to work and finds there's a riot in town. Some who just out of excitement came to this house, Mr. Speaker, and lost their lives, through police. Mr. Speaker, the promise to compensate is not sufficient. You cannot.
Senator Manso, thank you. Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to comment on the statement by the Majority Leader on appearance of governors in the two oversight committees of the Senate, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I speak here as a two-term governor who faithfully and dutifully attended to all the summons in the Senate to account for the resources that was given to my responsibility as the governor of this county. I would want to urge the current governors that you cannot run away from accountability, whether now or in the future. In fact, my advice to the governors is that you are better off sorting your audit queries when you are still in office, because you still have access to documents and records for you to account for the activities or the services you've rendered the people in the money that we have appropriated to your counties. Honorable Speaker, it is quite unfortunate when you hear some governors saying they can't appear, it's not I don't know what. Yet every other financial year before revenue are shared between national and county governments, they are always at the doors of the chair of Finance Committee and the entire Senate, asking that we support them to get additional resources, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, from when devolution started in this country in 2013, a county like Uasin Gishu started with an allocation of 3.5 billion. Today, as we speak, courtesy of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, Uasin Gishu County receives over 10 billion Kenya shillings every financial year. It would therefore be careless of the governors to imagine that they can receive such amount of enormous resources and fail to account for them, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with Senator Ledama that those governors must receive summons and appear before those committees, Honorable Speaker. And if they fail, Honorable Speaker, there are options for them to be frog-marched by the police, Honorable Speaker, to forcefully appear before those committees. And Honorable Speaker, we also want to ask the other sister institutions responsible for accountability. Honorable Speaker, when a governor refuses to appear and answer those audit queries before the Senate, then the EACC must kick in and straight away take that matter to court. I want to remind governors that the opportunity to appear before the committees is to enable them explain how the funds have been used in what has been queried, avail documents where the documents have not been availed. Failure to that, Honorable Speaker, it means EACC must kick in immediately. You are being given a breach
between being taken to court for those audit queries and to respond and explain before the two accountability committees of the Senate and the entire Senate. What we want to remind governors is that the senators that sit in those committees don't sit on their behalf. They sit on
Senator Lemaletian, Hazana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I rise to contribute to the statement by Senator Cherargei of Nandi County on the role of the Council of Governors in appointments to various boards, task forces, and committees. Mr. Speaker, the whole purpose or role of devolution was to ensure that each county has a representation at the national level, and to also ensure that there was an equitable distribution of national cake across the whole country, and especially the most marginalized parts of this country, like Samburu County and Turkana and the rest, Mr. Speaker. In my view, Mr. Speaker, there was need also to refer this statement also to the Committee on National Cohesion to be able to ensure that there is equal representation, especially taking into consideration very important factors like religion, ethnicity, and the regional diversity, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is also the case of double remunerations that which we have been hearing a lot about it in the mainstream media, and there have been cases where people are employed twice. Mr. Speaker, it's very sad to know that this is happening in our country when majority of our youth in this country are jobless and deserve these positions. Mr. Speaker, when I was working for one of the state departments before I joined this honorable house, I was very disappointed that there were people who had already surpassed the age of retirement, and they were supposed to be back at home taking care of their great-grandchildren. But they were there trying to peep computers when we have so many unemployed people and youth across the country, Mr. Speaker. There is need to also right size and ensure that the people who are employed are fit for the job. Last but not least, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to marginalization, those of us who come from marginalized parts of this country understand the pain of not being included in the sharing of the national revenue and national cake. And it's even more crippled by the fact that we do not have sufficient representation in offices that matter. Mr. Speaker, the work and role of these national boards is very critical. This is where they make very key decisions that influence how much resources are being pumped or distributed across the whole country. And therefore, it is very imperative that this matter is taken into serious consideration. And I'm happy that it is coming before my Committee of Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mwenda Gataya.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the statement made by Majority Leader to the effect that accountability, Honorable Speaker, is not the creation of any committee of this House. It's a constitutional obligation, and I don't want to mention names, but I don't know where those people have gotten those powers to avoid accounting for the resources that have been given by them by this House. I remember, Honorable Speaker, we have been very, very, very instrumental in making sure that we devolve resources to the counties. Actually, we work in unison across the board, all the senators, to make sure that all the counties have their money. I remember the last few weeks, Honorable Speaker, we had equitable share, where some 11 counties benefited from some millions of money from those counties that are marginalized. Honorable Speaker, when a governor fails to appear before a committee to account for the resources, that act, Honorable Speaker, borders on criminality and abuse of law. And I want to agree with the sentiments of quite a number of senators who have expressed some dismay. It's important, Honorable Speaker, that we need to summon those governors before the committee of the whole House so that those people, governors that have been wrong, they can come and explain to the House why they have not been able to appear before the committees that are supposed to oversight on them. I think it's important, Honorable Speaker. This is not something that we can negotiate. We are not the creators of the Constitution. The Constitution is the Kenyan document. It's not something, it's a creation of any committee of this House. So when a governor fails to appear before any committee to account for the results that have been given to them by the Constitution, by this committee, that one borders on criminality, it borders on abuse of law, and we must compel those governors to appear before those relevant committees to say what they have been able to do with those money on behalf of the people that represent their respective counties. I support our Speaker.
Senator John Muhia Methu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to comment on this statement that has been sought by the Leader of Majority. And thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for indulging us to make comments on this. Mr. Speaker, sir, it has never and it shall never be a favor or a privilege to the Senate for a governor to appear to answer questions that have been raised by the Auditor General. And Mr. Speaker, sir, sometimes many people confuse many things. We are not the first and we are not the primary. We don't hold the primary responsibility on audit on counties, Mr. Speaker. This is audit that has already been carried out by the Office of the Auditor General. There are documents that have been asked by the Auditor General and you are not able to provide them. That is where it is raised as an audit query. So if governors are really as clean as they purport to be, they would have provided the documents at the first point of audit, because once you provide those the documents at the point of audit, you get unqualified audit opinions, Mr. Speaker, and it is not a feat that has not been achieved. I think the governor from makwiny has already achieved this particular feat. So therefore, you should not even be disturbing the Senate that you are appearing or not. Why don't you first provide these documents because they have been sought for? And Mr. Speaker, sir, it cannot be, and we must compel governors to appear before the Senate. We have to use every available tool to ensure that we have governors appear before the Senate. And as it has been aptly put by some of my colleagues, Mr. Speaker, in fact, where I find this statement a bit defective is we are speaking of them appearing before CPAC, Mr. Speaker. This is a chronic disease across all committees, both the CPIC, in the other committee that you people drew me to, the Committee on Education. We were expecting to have the governor. I think the governor for Isiolo yesterday, he didn't appear. And Mr. Speaker, sir, it is the governors are refusing to appear before the Senate through its committees, Mr. Speaker. And I've been able to just scan through the Constitution. And Mr. Speaker, if there's one word that has been repeated consistently, Mr. Speaker, including chapter 13 of public service, in terms of values and principles of public service, one of them, Mr. Speaker, is efficient, effective, and economic use of resources. Another is accountability for administrative acts. Another one is transparency and provision to the public of timely and accurate information. Mr. Speaker, sir, what the Senate is asking for is the documents of expenditure that has happened in all our county governments, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, as I wind up my thoughts on this particular matter, Mr. Speaker, it cannot be that the governors are our friends.
Give Senator Methu 30 seconds to conclude.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It cannot be, Mr. Speaker, that governors are foaming in the mouth when they are telling us to push the allocation, the equitable allocation from the national government, Mr. Speaker, to 450 billion, 500 billion, and when they get the money, they don't want to account for that money, Mr. Speaker. We must ensure that we force them, and the word is force, we must force them to appear before the Senate so that they can come and say, what have you been doing with all this money that you are sending to your counties? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Lastly, I'll allow the chairperson of CPAC committee, Senator Kajwang, to comment on this statement or any other statement for that matter that was earlier on raised. Senator Kajwang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I deliberately chose to speak last because I wanted to get the advice and counsel of my colleagues. And I've taken a lot of points from members of this Senate on how we should proceed with this matter. I'd like to thank the Majority Leader for seeing it fit to issue that statement. When this matter first came up, I made it very clear that it is not a personal matter. It is not about certain individuals that sit in certain committees. It is an institutional matter where another institution sits down and looks for loopholes and backdoors that they can use to avoid being held accountable. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank your office and the leadership of this House for never at any point making this an issue about the personalities in various committees, but an issue about the institution of the Senate. As a chair of the Public Accounts Committee, I am aware that I hold that position in trust. It is this House that has mandated me to be the chair of that committee. I will take the advice, I will take the proposal made by the majority leader that if a governor refuses to come and you send the police to arrest them and bring them, and the police decide not to do so, we are not powerless. We have power as a House that writes laws, a House that divides revenue, a House that allocates revenue, a House that determines the formula, a House that writes laws cannot be powerless in the face of a small group of governors who have decided to exercise impunity. And so I want to assure the House that we shall take proper legal advice. The Minority Whip has asked us to ensure that everything we do is lawful, and we shall ensure that everything we do is within the confines of the law. We shall look at jurisprudence, if there have been any court decisions in the past that can guide our actions and subsequent recommendations to the House. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the committee I lead, and I see some of the members are here, Senior Counsel, Senator Wambua, and several others, and many other members. Senator Methu has been a member of that committee, including Senator Ledama Olekina, the author of the first fiduciary risk report, that we shall remain firm, we shall be steadfast, we shall stand with this House, we shall stand with the people. Ultimately, the money that goes to counties does not go to the pockets of governors. It goes to provide medication, seed, fertilizer, and all those other public goods that our people deserve. We shall never at any point encourage this House to reduce allocations to county governments, Mr. Speaker. That must be made clear. County governments should continue to get more and more, because governors come, governors go, but counties will always remain, and the Senate will always remain. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and again, I want to thank the Majority Leader for bringing that statement.
Now, Honorable Senators, that brings us to the end of comments to the statements. And for purposes of further processing the business of the House, I will rearrange the order paper and call order number 20. Clerk, please call out order number 20.
Order number 20, the Health Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 12 of 2025, second reading.
Senator Okongo Omogeni.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm moving the Health Amendment Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, the gist of the amendment is that I propose to amend the Health Act by inserting a new Section 7.
Senator Okongo Omogeni, you know you are senior to quite a number of us in the House. Kindly properly proceed to move your motion appropriately.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the Health Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 12 of 2025, be read a second time.
Now you may now proceed.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. The amendment, Mr. Speaker, proposes to amend the Health Act 2025, Mr. Speaker, by inserting a new Section 7A to address a number of issues affecting those who are not able to pay medical bills that are incurred in our public hospitals and in some cases in our private hospitals. Mr. Speaker, I am sure that all of us senators from our respective counties, we have had instances, Mr. Speaker, where those we refer to as hustlers, those who are not well endowed financially, get attended to in hospitals, they incur medical bills, Mr. Speaker, but because they don't have the economic means, Mr. Speaker, they end up not paying their medical bills, either in public hospital, Mr. Speaker, or in private hospitals. And Mr. Speaker, what has been happening, which is very unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, is that hospitals have resorted to recovering their debts by either detaining patients, in some instances, detaining mothers and their young children in hospital as a way of holding them in lien till their debt is paid. So, Mr. Speaker, the proposal on the table through this amendment is to outlaw any detention of a patient or a corpse due to an outstanding fee incurred in relation to any treatment offered in a health facility. And Mr. Speaker, to make that proposed amendment effective, Section 7A, subsection 2, Mr. Speaker, proposes that anybody who is in charge of a health facility who contravenes that section that outlaws detention commits an offense. And thirdly, Mr. Speaker, so that we have a buy-in from the government, Mr. Speaker, I've proposed in clause 3 that the cabinet secretary responsible for health issues will make regulations on the enforcement of this proposed amendment. Mr. Speaker, I want to emphasize before the honorable senators here that this amendment is anchored on a number of constitutional rights that are guaranteed in our Constitution 2010. Mr. Speaker, we all know that when the 2010 Constitution was enacted, it created a very vibrant Bill of Rights, Mr. Speaker. And some of the rights that were guaranteed to Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, is what is found in Article 43 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to read the entire of Article 43, but in a nutshell, Mr. Speaker, Article 43 states that every Kenyan is entitled to a right to the highest attainable standard of health, including the right to access health services. So, Speaker, this right belongs to the rich, to the mighty, and to the poor, Mr. Speaker, or to the less privileged within our society, Mr. Speaker. I'm sure, Mr. Speaker, when Kenyans enacted Article 43, Mr. Speaker, they knew, Mr. Speaker, that amongst us, there are those, Mr. Speaker, who are not well endowed financially to meet their bills the way me and other honorable senators are able to, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, the fact that a Kenyan does not have the financial means, Mr. Speaker, to meet certain financial obligations, especially when that Kenyan is in need of health care services, Mr. Speaker, does not mean that they lose their dignity, Mr. Speaker. Worse still, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that there are some fundamental articles in our Constitution that are breached any time you detain a patient because of inability to pay for their medical bills. Mr. Speaker, being a lawyer, you know what is provided for in Article 29 of our Constitution, which states that nobody should be deprived of their liberty arbitrarily, Mr. Speaker. By detaining a patient who has walked into a health facility, received medical attention, And then instead of releasing that patient, you detain them till they settle their bills, Mr. Speaker. That is tantamount to depriving that citizen of their liberty arbitrarily, Mr. Speaker. Second, Mr. Speaker, Article 28 of our Constitution, Mr. Speaker, obligates all of us Kenyans to ensure that any treatment that we vest on any Kenyan incorporates human dignity, Mr. Speaker, so that anything that is inherently degrading to any Kenyan is a clear violation, Mr. Speaker, of Article 28 of our Constitution, Mr. Speaker. And I want to state here, Mr. Speaker, as a person from the great county of Nyamira who has had personal experiences, Mr. Speaker, where mothers have given birth in hospitals and been detained for more than a month with their young children, Mr. Speaker, because of inability to pay for their medical bills, Mr. Speaker. In one instance, Mr. Speaker, and that's what has moved me to come with this amendment. A poor mother, Mr. Speaker, was detained, and I don't want to give her names because I want to respect the dignity of that Kenyan, Mr. Speaker, was detained in an hospital, but because she was not able to pay for her bills, Mr. Speaker, she was forced to sleep on the floor with her child, Mr. Speaker, because the hospital was saying only those patients that are able to pay their bills will be allowed to enjoy the facilities of a bed and a mattress, Mr. Speaker. Just imagine that kind of degrading treatment. In another instance, Mr. Speaker, I had to intervene, Mr. Speaker, when our National Referral Hospital detained a patient, Mr. Speaker, who was knocked down by a vehicle, rushed by the police to Kenyatta National Hospital for emergency treatment, Mr. Speaker, after staying in that hospital for a record 58 days, Mr. Speaker. That poor Kenyan incurred a bill of 1.7 million shillings. And when he passed on, Mr. Speaker, the hospital refused to release that body, insisting that they were detaining that body as lien for the recovery of that debt. You are a lawyer, Mr. Speaker, and you know, Mr. Speaker, that in law, Mr. Speaker, you cannot claim property in a dead body. There is no property in a dead body, Mr. Speaker. We all know, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, to bring to an end this kind of degrading treatment, Mr. Speaker, we are proposing that we legislate, Mr. Speaker, to make it criminal for any health facility, Mr. Speaker, to detain a person solely on inability to pay for any medical expenses incurred in our hospital. Mr. Speaker, I know that as a country we are moving towards universal health coverage, Mr. Speaker. You and I, Mr. Speaker, pay a lot of money towards SHA because we want to contribute for those who are not able to pay for their either insurance or for getting that SHA card, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know that you, I, and every other senator, every month, we contribute a whooping 43,000 shillings, Mr. Speaker. While there are Kenyans who pay as low as 800, we pay more, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that these poor Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, the less privileged in society, can enjoy from our contributions, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, really there is no justification, Mr. Speaker, for us as a parliament continuing to see the kind of suffering that Kenyans go through. Mr. Speaker, what I've stated this afternoon that is incorporated in our constitution is also backed by best international standards and many other international conventions. Mr. Speaker, we all know that under Article 2, Sub-Article 6 of our constitution, any treaty or any convention that has been ratified by Kenya shall form part of our laws, Mr. Speaker. That's in the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the International Convention on Civil and political rights that has been ratified by Kenya, our country. In Article 11, it states very clearly that no one shall be imprisoned merely for inability to pay a debt or discharge a contractual obligation, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, if international conventions have acknowledged, Mr. Speaker, that it is unlawful, illegal to detain or imprison somebody for inability to pay a debt, Mr. Speaker, on what basis can a hospital, Mr. Speaker, purport to detain a patient or a corpse, Mr. Speaker? Near home, Mr. Speaker, the African Charter on Human and People Rights, Mr. Speaker, which again, going by the provisions of Article 2, Sub-Article 6, has been ratified by Kenya, Mr. Speaker, states, Mr. Speaker, that no one may be deprived of his freedom except for reasons and conditions previously laid down by law, Mr. Speaker. In particular, and I lay more emphasis there, no one may be arbitrarily detained, Mr. Speaker. So by us allowing our health facilities to detain any Kenyan purportedly due to inability to pay for their medical expenses, Mr. Speaker, we are contravening our constitution, we are contravening international conventions that we have ratified as a country, Mr. Speaker, and every act, Mr. Speaker, done by those hospitals is unconstitutional, Mr. Speaker. Further, Mr. Speaker, there is no law. I've gone through all our statutes, Mr. Speaker. There is no law that allows anybody to detain another person as a means of debt recovery. There is no law, Mr. Speaker, to that effect. There is an option, Mr. Speaker, for hospitals to recover those debts. You can sue for a civil debt, Mr. Speaker. If the person refusing to pay is in a well-paying job, Mr. Speaker, you can garnish their salary, Mr. Speaker. You have all those options. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the issues I'm raising this afternoon as I move this amendment have been tested in our courts of law, Mr. Speaker, and on numerous occasions, Mr. Speaker, when courts have been faced with cases on detention of patients in hospitals or detention of corpses for non-payment of bills, Mr. Speaker, courts have ruled, Mr. Speaker, that detention of such patients for inability to pay their medical bills is unlawful, is arbitrary, and is unconstitutional. So there is no doubt, Mr. Speaker, that what is provided for in the Constitution has gotten favor, Mr. Speaker, from our courts, Mr. Speaker, through judicial pronouncements. Mr. Speaker, I've also tried to look at, maybe the prevailing best international standards in many countries, Mr. Speaker. In the UK, Mr. Speaker, under the National Health Service, Mr. Speaker, patients cannot be detained in hospitals simply because they are unable to pay hospital bills. That is from our former colonial master in the UK, Mr. Speaker. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the emphasis, just like what is provided for in our Article 43 of Constitution, is that the obligation is to ensure that if a patient is brought to a hospital, what can be criminal is failure to give medical attention to that patient. That's what can be criminalized, but not the idea of saying somebody came, got treatment, and is not able to pay their medical bills. Mr. Speaker, in the UK, hospitals do not have the legal power to detain a patient for unpaid medical bills. None at all, Mr. Speaker. Even if you go to Google or internet, Mr. Speaker, you will not find any instance where a hospital in UK, Mr. Speaker, has detained a patient for inability to pay their medical bills, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you go to the US, Mr. Speaker, the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, Mr. Speaker, again places emphasis on an obligation to attend to an emergency, Mr. Speaker, to treat a patient first before you deal with issues of recovery of a debt, Mr. Speaker. And the issue of detention because of non-payment of any bill is actually illegal in the US, Mr. Speaker. You cannot hold a patient hostage or a corpse hostage because they are unable to pay for their medical bills. But you can file a lawsuit, Mr. Speaker. You can do their creative damage, which you can do in Kenya, Mr. Speaker. If Senator Omogeni takes a member of his family, God forbid, in a hospital, and I run away from paying my debts, list me under the credit rating to damage my reputation, Mr. Speaker. If not, file a lawsuit in a court of law, Mr. Speaker. If you get the court orders, you can garnish my salary, Mr. Speaker. Or if I have any asset, Mr. Speaker, come after me, Mr. Speaker. In Rwanda, Mr. Speaker, there is a very strong public health approach to making sure that the poor access health care services in Rwanda here, Mr. Speaker. So, if you look around many jurisdictions, Mr. Speaker, we don't have jurisdictions where this very bad practice of detaining patients is encouraged or even tolerated, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, in moving this bill, Mr. Speaker, we want to send a message, Mr. Speaker, that we value those who are not well privileged in our societies, but also acknowledge the fact that, Mr. Speaker, they have a right to access medical services, just like any Kenyan, Mr. Speaker, and to re-emphasize, Mr. Speaker, that they have a right to be treated in a very dignified manner and not in a very indignified manner, Mr. Speaker. Detention for non-payment of bills or holding patients hostage, Mr. Speaker, is a practice that this Senate should condemn, Mr. Speaker, by enacting this particular bill, Mr. Speaker, so that we ensure that Article 43 has rights that can be enjoyed by all Kenyans. I'm sure, Mr. Speaker, if I ask Senator Wambua or Senator Mugatana or my good friend, Chair of Labour, Senator Mulgor, these are instances that has affected one or two of, or even many of their residents from their respective counties, Mr. Speaker. So I seek the support of honorable senators, Mr. Speaker, so that this bill can see the light of the day, Mr. Speaker, so that the great people of the county of Kitui, the great people of the county of Nyamira, West Pokot, Tana River, Mr. Speaker, can enjoy the rights that are enshrined in Article 43 of the Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to take a lot of time because I want to donate time to my friend Senator Wambua to second this bill. But I urge senators, Mr. Speaker, to back this bill that will bring smiles and dignity to those who are underprivileged in our society. I beg to move, Mr. Speaker, and ask Senator Wambua to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senior Counsel Okonko Mogeni. In fact, as a matter of precedence, the pronouncements the courts have made on this have used some specific quotes, including the fact that you cannot punish poverty to the extent that even if one Senator Wambua gives Sorry, there's a problem with the mic. Try now the mic, just on my end it's up. Now you are on, Senator Wambua. The system has now picked up. You just may need to try and use the dispatch.
I thank you, the Speaker. The Speaker, I'm not sure about many things, but I'm sure that this is not sabotage in any way. That I am sure about. The Speaker, I rise to second the Health Amendment Bill 2025 as ably moved by Senior Counsel Senator for Nyamira, Senator Mogeni, who is also our Commissioner. The Speaker, in seconding this bill, I want to begin by thanking the Senator of Nyamira for taking time to think through the issue of detention or confinement of patients, and worse still, the detention of corpses in hospitals and hospital morgues. Mr. Speaker, I fully support the proposed new section 7A 1, which seeks to outlaw the detention of patients or corpses on account of non-payment of fees, but further moves to the next step to propose a penalty for breach, but does not stop there. It also provides solutions for hospitals to recover their monies where patients are unable to promptly pay up. Mr. Speaker, because you have made reference to the courts, I want to draw the attention of this House to what I would personally, as a layman, consider a landmark ruling in this respect of the case between Emma Muthoni and the Nairobi Women's Hospital, where Emma was admitted to the facility on the 23rd of March 2018, discharged on May 14th of the same year, but detained at the facility for 5 months until October 19th on account of payment of the hospital bill. And the court, Mr. Speaker, pronounced itself in a manner that I thought perhaps then it would set the stage for other hospitals, other health facilities in determining how to deal with patients under their care. And the court found that detention of EMA and by extension the detention of any patient in any hospital infringes on constitutional rights and fundamental freedoms of a person under Article 28 on human dignity, Article 29 on the freedom and security of the person, Article 39 on the freedom of movement, and of course specifically on Article 43 on the right to access the highest attainable standards of health. Mr. Speaker, most of the facilities that detain patients or corpses argue that they have no mechanism of at a later date getting their bills paid, and so they opt to detain the patient. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that we must do, and this law helps us to do, is to strike a healthy balance between the right to attain or to access the highest attainable standards of health for the patient, and also the right for hospitals and health facilities to do clean, profitable business. As Speaker, we must appreciate that the rise of legitimate private facilities in itself is a statement on the inability of public health institutions to adequately take care of the health needs of our citizenry. Going further down, Mr. Speaker, the mushrooming of fake health facilities is also a statement on the ability or the inability of both private institutions and public health institutions to sufficiently address the health needs of our citizens. And so, Mr. Speaker, that is the reason that the Speaker of the Senate led all of us, Mr. Speaker, while sitting in Lodwar in Turkana County between September 25th to September 29th of 2023 during the Senate Mashinani. And Mr. Speaker, it shall be remembered that it was during that sitting in Turkana County that the Senate passed enabling legislation towards the attainment of universal health care. We had a very robust engagement, Mr. Speaker, and both sides of the aisle, Mr. Speaker, the Senate, we came up with legislation that we thought would therefore now make some of these practices a thing of the past. Arising, Mr. Speaker, and as a consequence of those legislations that we passed, Mr. Speaker, you and I and all of us in the Senate and members of the National Assembly, as the Senator for Nyamira has reminded us, we are paying every month 43,000 Kenya shillings, every month, towards the attainment of universal health coverage, which, Mr. Speaker, ideally should ensure that all of us, those who are privileged to be in formal employment or in big businesses, and those of us, Mr. Speaker, Kenyans, who are at the bottom of the economic pyramid, are able to access the same health care both in private and in public institutions. And so, Mr. Speaker, the expectation on of Kenyans and the expectations of those of us in leadership was that, Mr. Speaker, after passing these very critical pieces of legislation, then the talk about mothers and children being detained for months without end in hospitals for lack of payment of hospital bills that have fallen due would clearly become a thing of the past. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, we are still there. I'm hoping, Mr. Speaker, that on the strength of this amendment by Senator Onyamira, added to the other pieces of legislation on universal health coverage, Mr. Speaker, then we shall ultimately bury this bad behavior, bad manners on the part of hospitals to detain patients in hospitals and corpses, Mr. Speaker, in mortuaries. Mr. Speaker, because we live in this country, all of us, we have heard the vigor with which the President of the Republic has spoken on the need to actualize universal health coverage. We have heard the President of the Republic, and I'm very sure the Senator of Tana River has heard this and will confirm if he gets a chance to contribute to this motion, that the President has actually told Kenyans that if you go to a health facility and people are asking you to pay for treatment, call the police, because you should not be paying for payment or for treatment. How is it, Mr. Speaker, that Kenyans are not just being asked to pay for treatment, they are being detained on account of hospital bills and mortuary fees? Mr. Speaker, as I move towards a conclusion of my seconding of this motion, I want to go back to